Hi, welcome to my channel. The full version of the audiobook is available on my Patreon. You can quickly find it through the link in my profile description. Thank you for your support.
Chapter 1, Ye Luo, the prickly head, the system is activated. Parallel Worlds, Blue Star. March 2010, 11 AD. Inside a stadium on the outskirts of Malaga, Spain. Go to the side. Move to the side. Transfer. I belong to CNTM. Pass NM. A middle-aged man with black hair and yellow skin stood on the sidelines, directing the game with a loud voice, and blowing up the greasy Lu Hai on his forehead from time to time. On the field. The two teams of young players are fighting fiercely. The scoreboard on the sidelines shows the scores of the two teams. On the bench, Ye Luo, who had just finished warming up, walked to the sidelines. Director Lee. Dragon Kingdom Beckham, Ye Luo, with clean short hair and fair skin and delicate features, came to the sidelines beside the coach Li Tai of the Dragon Kingdom Olympic team, who seemed very anxious to direct the game. This Olympic team was formed to prepare for the 2012 London Olympics. It was 2010, 2 years before the Olympics. Therefore, the age of the players is basically between 20 and 21 years old, because the age limit for Olympic football matches is under 23 years old. But Ye Luo is the only exception. He is certainly not an overage player, but a young player who is still dissatisfied. He jumped from the national youth team to the national Olympic team. Li Tai turned to look at Ye Luo, with a forced smile on his lips. The reason for being squeezed is because he doesn't like Ye Luo's prickly head very much. This guy has not been very obedient since he joined the team, especially in terms of tactical execution. He simply does his own way, is unorganized and undisciplined, and he especially likes to shoot inside. So in general, this kid won't get any chance to play. But the current situation on the court is not good for the Longwa Olympic team. The opponent of the Olympic team is the Getafe U21 youth team. It is said that it is U21, but in fact, the opponents are generally 18 or 19 years old. Even if you only look at the age on the data, the Dragon Country Olympic team is 1 or 2 years older than the opponent. Not to mention, the performance of the Longwa youth team has always been better than that of the adult team. The reason is of course related to changing age. The big beats the small. Bad grades are weird. After all, in the youth team stage, there is a 1-year difference in age, and there is a big gap in physical fitness. Not to mention the difference in age. Li Tai originally thought that this warm-up match could give the team some confidence to prepare for the Morocco Cup International Youth Invitational Tournament in a few days. The results of it? As a result, the Getafe U21 youth team, who was 2 years younger than the Longwa Olympic team, might even be 3 or 4 years old. Before halftime, they beat the Longwa Olympic team, Fortunately, this match is an internal warm-up match, otherwise, Longwa would definitely be scolded. Li Tai originally didn't intend to use Ye Luo. The reason is not complicated. Ye Luo is a relegation player. He is very strong, but his emotional intelligence is not high. This kid has been in the team for more than a month, and he doesn't know how to express it. But Li Tai also knew. A team cannot be all related households, at least there must be some capable factions, so that the position of the head coach will be stable. Xiaoya, when you get on the field later, you take more balls, break through the bottom pass, and find the high center forward. Li Tai restrained his thoughts and explained his tactics. Ye Luo looked at the big, idiot Long Guo who was holding his head in frustration on the field. He failed to grab the point again. He is very tall. But the figure is like a stick. There is not much meat on his body. The confrontation ability is seriously insufficient, and the center of gravity is high. In the penalty area, it is like a sailboat being tossed by the waves. It's now 10 minutes into the second half. After more than 50 minutes of the game, Ye Luo didn't see any trustworthy performance from that stupid big man. Can't get the first point. Can't run out of position. Can't get stuck. Didn't even touch the ball a few times. With this kind of performance, they can be selected for the national Olympic team and can also be the main force. No wonder many people in the team are doing badly, and they don't think that this national Olympic team has the possibility of impacting the London Olympics. Coach, you know it's useless, right? He doesn't have the ability to fight against the opponent's central defender, let alone grab points. He hasn't even finished taking off in the confrontation. Can he play as a center like this? Can't. You don't have the ability to know. Ye Luo said, pointing to the field with an unceremonious finger. Of course he knew why the high center forward could join the Olympic team. What else? With the red envelope chant. Ye Luo is not a fool, of course he knows the hidden rules of the Longwa football circle. To play. Red envelopes lead the way. Li Tai's face darkened. This kid has some strength. But it's hard to manage. Coach Longwa has the most headaches for this kind of player. On the one hand, people have strength. When you really need a victory to stabilize your position, you have to use it. On the other hand, this kind of harsh talk doesn't give you any face. Sometimes it even makes you unable to get off the stage. Just like now. Ye Luo's voice reached the bench. The big brothers of the Olympic team on the bench looked sideways. In the past month, they have seen how thorny Dragon Kingdom Beckham is. But people do have strength. High speed. The inside cut shot is hard on the head. At least in the horizontal comparison of players of the same age in Longwa football. Ye Luo's ability is still top-notch. These are the capital of other people's thorns. But sometimes too much is easy to break. Like now. The corners of the mouths of many Olympic team players on the bench showed mocking expressions. The high center forward is the main force in the team, not because he is so good, but because he is a well-connected family. The family has a little relationship with the superiors, and it also gives Li Tai a lot of benefits in guiding him. Of course, he can start every game. And not only the first game. It also requires other players to play around them. Hit the high ball and pass from the wing. It seems to be the core treatment. Many players naturally dare not speak out about this. It is too difficult for a small player in Longwa football to stand out. It's not just about ability. Li Tai is a famous player in Dragon Country football and has a great influence in Dragon Country football. At the same time, he has a very close relationship with the newly appointed general manager of the Dragon Country Football Association, Program Yuan. This is also one of the reasons why Li Tai was able to get the position of head coach of the Olympic team. Li Tai didn't expect Ye Luo to attack at this time. I was shocked and angry in my heart. No. They took 50 yuan. If you can't even arrange a main force, how can you mess up in the future? This word of mouth can't be messed up. Damn, this kid is really fucking difficult to deal with. I knew it. Li Qixin rode. He took a deep breath, blew on Lu Hai, and suppressed the anger in his heart. Difficult to do is difficult to do. Now he really needs Ye Luo. Because Ye Luo is fast and has strong breakthrough ability. So letting him break through the bottom pass from the wing is indeed a good way to break the game. Although Li Tai charges a lot for benefits. But he is one of the few players in the history of Longwa football who has been able to gain a foothold in the 5 major leagues. Of course the ability is there. He squinted his eyes at Ye Luo and said, whether he can do it or not is not something you should care about. I am the head coach. You only need to be responsible for implementing my tactics. Ye Luo sneered. The excitement of coming to the Olympic team a month ago has long been wiped out. As a traveler who traveled from a parallel world. He was an avid football fan in his previous life. But he has never received systematic football training. This life. There is this opportunity. Especially his physical talent is not bad in Longwa. So he cherishes it very much. But did not expect. Even if it is a parallel world. Dragon Kingdom football is still. Smoky air. Ye Luo didn't want to bear it anymore. There was a hint of sarcasm at the corner of his mouth. Next second. He looked stunned. In mind. A mechanical sound sounded. Ding, the strongest football system is activated. Ding, you get the chance to choose the system. Option, dash, swallow your breath and go on stage, get the reward, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles buff. Option, dash, domineering rejection, get a reward, SSS level novice gift pack. End of this chapter. Chapter 2 The Strongest Start, Sanluo Template Fusion. Chapter 2 The Strongest Start, Sanluo Template Fusion. Ye Luo was stunned. System. Goldfinger. Ye Luo has experienced many battles and has seen a lot. Immediately ignored Li Tai, who was at the side. All attention is on the system. Choose one. Ha ha ha. How is this possible? Decisively choose two. Li Tai saw Ye Luo's expression. I thought the other party was subdued. A burst of satisfaction in my heart. So what if you have the ability? Want to play? You still have to get the permission of your own head coach. And how do you play after you play? You must obey the arrangement. Genius. Haha. There is no shortage of talents in the Longwa football circle. But can it be kicked out? But not necessarily. Li Tai sneered in his heart. There was a kind smile on his face. I still need this kid to work hard for the Maraca Cup Youth Invitational Tournament in a few days. He softened his tone and said, Xiaoya, I know your ability. As long as you obey the coaching staff's arrangement, I will let you start against the Malaga youth team in the Malaga Cup in a few days. Slap a sweet date. Li Tai still has a lot of means. When Ye Luo heard this, a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Li Tai thought that Ye Luo agreed, so he gave Ye Luo the same lightly, put his hand on Ye Luo's shoulder, and was about to say something encouraging, so that he could accept Ye Luo and work for him. Director Li, I have a good appetite, but I don't eat everything. The corners of Ye Luo's mouth curled up, showing the mockery and disdain on his face. He stared at Li Tai, and said, I originally thought that the Olympic team led by the famous Longwa football star would have a new look, but I didn't expect it to be a fucking egg. Li Tai's hands froze. The expression on his face seemed to have been frozen for thousands of years. He looked horrified and puzzled. This kid. Is he really soft and hard? Why is he against himself? Hasn't Dragon Country football been like this all along? Everyone is here to make money. Is this kid really here to play football? Li Tai woke up instantly, startled and angry. Do you know what you're talking about? You. Before finishing speaking, Ye Luo sneered, of course I know what I'm talking about, and I also know the consequences. It's good that you know, if you don't play today, you know, I can make you unable to get along in the Longwa football circle. Li Tai sneered. His face was torn, and he no longer pretended. I can't get along. Ye Luo laughed. Then he tore off his training vest. Tear. I don't want to hang out in this cesspit for a long time. Li Tai's expression froze. He suddenly remembered. This kid had terminated his contract with a domestic club before coming to Spain, and it was really difficult for him to handle the opponent. Now it seems. This kid has already planned. But. A look of, I'm thinking of you, appeared on Li Tai's face. Xiaoya, it's not so easy to mix abroad. Do you think you can mix it up abroad? It's so naive. Foreign players like you, grab it with your hands. You are praised by the Longwa media, what kind of genius, what kind of Longwa baker ham, I went abroad. Who are you? Now the domestic Chinese Super League is just about to enter a golden age. Everyone plays football to make money. The time for athletes to make money is only 10 years. If you miss it, you can play. Missed. Li Tai is earnest, but there is also a hidden threat. With Hengtai Group's entry into the Changzhou team, generous signings and higher wages for players, the Chinese Super League, which was not very popular in China before, has now become a favorite. It's amazing, the broadcast fee can be sold, and the wages of players are rising. A famous player like Ye Luo will definitely get the attention of some teams with investment from real estate groups. But if he offends Li Tai, with the influence of Li Tai in the domestic football circle, Ye Luoka won't be able to enjoy this wave of bonuses. Director Li, if I can get out, I'll go for it myself and bear the consequences. But I have only one shortcoming, I can't eat shit. Ye Luo has long been ready to go abroad. The 5 major leagues cannot be played. Go to the secondary league. Even some small country leagues in Central and Eastern Europe. It's much better than staying at home. Ye Luo also wanted to understand. Someone who really wants to play football. Stay in domestic football. You can only go with the tide, otherwise it will be difficult to move forward. So, Ye Luo has already made up his mind to get out of this cesspit, and he wants to stay in Europe. Going abroad with the Olympic team this time is an opportunity. There are so many countries in Europe, go one by yourself. La Liga can't be mixed with Spanish B, mixed with Portuguese Super League, Portuguese B. If he was able to skip a level and be selected for the Longwa National Olympics, he could be considered a professional player. After all, he can play the ball. Li Tai asked him to go on stage to make a wedding dress for a related household. Impossible. He immediately took off his jersey, exposing the whole body of a strong body. Muscles are like knives and axes. Everyone couldn't help but look sideways. Many members of the Olympic team had complicated expressions on their faces. The brilliance of idealists is really stinging sometimes. Ye Luo looked at the national flag on the jersey. A trace of sadness flashed in his eyes. My country. My football. Mourn. He ran his fingers across the jersey. He knows. Take it off. Want to put it on again. I am afraid. Impossible. Which football teenager does not have the dream of the World Cup? Ye Luo gritted his teeth. Turn around. The jersey was placed on the bench chair. Only one shadow remained. And the complicated eyes looking at this figure. There is disdain. There is admiration. It doesn't matter. There is also mocking. Li Tai looked at Ye Luo's back. The complexity in the eyes flashed past. Once upon a time. He has equally passionate, equally idealistic moments. Li Tai, who had fallen into the abyss, seemed to be stung. He was even hysterical. Such an unorganized and undisciplined person will not get any chances in the future. He is finished. He is completely finished. Longwa football can't tolerate him. Li Tai growled while pointing at Ye Luo's back. I don't know if he is yelling at Ye Luo, or yelling at his past and his ideals. Ye Luo didn't look back, and his steps became more determined. He didn't take Li Tai's warning to heart. He had already planned to break with domestic football. Naturally, this warning was useless to him. And he still owns the system now. With the golden finger in hand, he doesn't believe that he can't get along abroad. Ye Luo stepped out of the field. Then the voice of the system sounded in his mind. Ding, you chose domineering rejection to get an SSS level novice gift package. Ding, do you want to open the novice gift package? Yes. Ye Luo thought silently. Ding, the novice gift pack is open, congratulations, you have obtained the SS player template *3. Ding, congratulations, you have obtained the SS level template, Ronaldo breakthrough ability template. Ding, congratulations, you have obtained the SS level template, Ronaldinho ball sensibility template. Ding, congratulations, you have obtained the SS level template, Cristiano Ronaldo goal scoring ability template. Ding, congratulations on getting 100 fusion points from the system. Note, template fusion needs to consume fusion points, and the template fusion progress needs to be consistent to avoid unpredictable consequences. Since you have 3 SS level templates at the same time, the fusion progress may be very slow. Is the host fused? The sound rang continuously. Ye Luo froze again and again. The Luo's breakthrough. Ronaldinho's sense of the ball. Ronaldo's score. This. If this is combined, what kind of powerful monster player will it be? Slow. Take it easy. System, what is the fusion progress of 1 fusion point? The fusion progress of 1 point fusion point is as follows, please check it. A light curtain suddenly appeared in front of Ye Luo. Classified according to the ability of professional players. It can be divided into 5 levels, C/B/A, S/SS. Consumes 1 fusion point. Can directly integrate 100% of the C-level player template ability. Integrate 50% B-level player ability. Integrates 20% A-level player abilities. Integrate 5% S-level player ability. Integrates 1% SS-level player ability. It seems. The importance of this fusion point is quite great. It is about whether you can finally successfully integrate the 3 SS-level templates into yourself, making it your true ability. End of this chapter. Chapter 3 The 3 Elements in 1, the best capital in the world. Chapter 3, 3 in 1, the best capital in the world. A fusion point of 100 points can only fuse, % of Ronaldinho and Ronaldo's respective abilities. But these, % abilities are combined. That is also quite powerful. Ye Luo took a deep breath. Can't wait to open the system. SS level template. Template ability, extraordinary breakthrough. Template reference player, Ronaldo Luis Nazario de Lima, aka Ronaldo, Aliens. Template description, after fusion, you can get the breakthrough ability of the peak Ronaldo, including breakthrough and speed. SS level template. Template ability, ball sense. Template reference player, Ronaldo de Assis Moreira, aka Ronaldinho, Ronaldinho. Template description, get the ball feel of the peak Ronaldinho after fusion. SS level template. Template ability, score. Template reference player, Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro, also known as Ronaldinho, Ronaldo. Template description, get the peak scoring ability of Cristiano Ronaldo after fusion, including shooting in the penalty area, long-range shooting, header, shooting position selection and adjustment, etc. Ye Luo took a deep breath. Whether it is Ronaldinho, or Ronaldo. They are all superstars who can leave their names in football history. His personal ability is unparalleled. Ronaldo's extraordinary breakthrough, and his speed. Ronaldinho's sense of the ball. Ronaldo's scoring ability. They are all the strongest grades in history. All 3 abilities can be obtained at the same time. Ye Luo knows. This is afraid that it can make me move towards the direction of the best player in history. This allows oneself to have the capital to dominate an era and rule an era. Ye Luo's hands were trembling slightly. His psychological endurance is very strong, but at this moment, he can't help being extremely excited. These 3 abilities must be fully integrated. And once the complete integration is completed, there will be no suspense for him to become the best player in the world. And if the current Ye Luo can get these 3 top players, even if they have, % of their strongest ability. That's definitely enough. Fusion. Must be integrated. Ye Luo knew very well that although he was a bit talented in Longwa football. But put it in world football, especially Europe and South America, where talent is everywhere. These 2 strokes by myself are not outstanding at all. Speed. Grab a lot at a fast speed. Cut inside. There are also many people who have this ability. Football is an industry with a high elimination rate. If the goal is to play professional football, almost every age group will eliminate more than half of the children. Wait until the end to be able to play in a professional team. Rare. The entire football industry is a huge pyramid. Able to play in the top 5 European leagues. It is the spire of the pyramid. And under the spire, it is a huge base. The vast majority of people are existences at the bottom of the pyramid. Ye Luo knew this very well. So, get these 3 abilities. It is the foundation to ensure that he can stand on the top of the tower. Of course. Having all 3 abilities is one thing. Whether you can really perform yourself is another matter. Ability is not about game values. Can be used reasonably and flexibly. I still need a long way to go. But at least, Ye Luo's starting point is already different. He now truly has the foundation to climb the highest peak. With a warm current flowing through, Ye Luo could clearly feel some changes in his body. If he has the ball under his feet now, he can even feel it. Football seems to have become a part of his body. Turn on the system. Ye Luo saw his attribute template. Name, Ye Luo. Nationality, Dragon Country. Age, born on February 1993, 14 years old. Position, Left winger / center forward / shadow forward / right winger. Ability score, 72. Fusion template, ball sense, SS level, progress 33%, breakthrough, SS level, progress 33%, scoring, SS level, progress 33%. Ability badges, none. Fusion point, 1 point. Ye Luo was slightly taken aback. I have superimposed, % of Ronaldinho's breakthrough, % of Ronaldinho's sense of the ball, and, % of Ronaldo's shooting ability. Why is the ability score only 72? Host, although you have obtained the abilities of the 3 SS level templates, it does not mean that you can fully realize your potential. For example, every character in the game has the same ability, but the person who controls the character is different, and the power they can exert is also different. Oh. That's it. Ye Luo also thought it was reasonable. For example, the same as Yasuo. Can the king player and the bronze player control it the same? Although have the same ability. But how to use these abilities? It varies from person to person. So, get yourself on top of the world. There is still a long way to go one. But so what? I am very lucky to be able to obtain these 3 ability templates. What to do next? It is to strive to combine these 3 abilities, or unleash your potential. Ye Luo clenched his fists. He is not the same now. He has the best potential in the world. Before this, his goal is just to get a chance to play in the 5 major leagues. And now, his goal has become the best in the world. I want to be the best in the world. Ye Luo whispered. Hey. Hello. A broken Chinese sounded in Ye Luo's ear. Ye Luo's attention was diverted from the system. Suddenly, my eyes went dark. Look up. A middle-aged Caucasian man whose body was like a rubber swimming ring came into view. I saw the other party with a hint of a smile. The top of the head is round. The chin is round. The belly slumped on a brown and black slender belt, which made Ye Luo worry that this poor belt might be broken by the lump of meat on it at any time. He seemed to see Ye Luo's worry. Phil Nora pulled up his belt and asked in Spanish, "Do you speak Spanish? Or English?" In order to get close. Phil Norad already greeted him in the only Chinese he knew. Scout. Correct. This is Spain. One of the central countries of world football. La Liga, which can compete with the Premier League for the First League, is here. So it was no surprise that a scout appeared here. You can speak Spanish. Ye Luo said. In order to go abroad to play football, Ye Luo has also made full preparations, the key of which is language. After all, on the football field, teammates have to echo each other. Language barrier is a big obstacle. Ye Luo learned Spanish, Portuguese, German, French and, of course, English. Although not particularly skilled. But basic communication can be done. Phil Norad heaved a sigh of relief. Oh, thank God. A kind smile appeared on his round face. I'm a scout from Malaga, my name is Phil Norad, you can just call me Phil. To be honest, I've been following you for 2 or 3 times a week. Phil looked Ye Luo up and down. Ye Luo's physical condition could not be seen from the stands. Now at first glance, it is not as thin as when watching from the stands. The muscles on the arms also look very strong, the skin on the arms is tanned, but the strange thing is that the skin on the face is very fair. Does this kid also wear sunscreen during training? Phil pushed the miscellaneous thoughts out of his mind. The corners of the mouth were raised slightly, and there was a kind look in the eyes. Would you like to go to Malaga for a trial training? Phil said. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Ye Luo, you have no way out. What is drowsiness? Someone will give you a pillow. This is it. Ye Luo was overjoyed. He is capable. But the platform is missing. And he has no contacts in Spain. How can I find a team that can accept me? According to Ye Luo's plan. He originally planned to cast a wide net in Spain and go to various clubs for trial training. Of course. Predictably. Most of the La Liga teams probably won't give him a chance to try out. This is normal. Ye Luo is just a nobody now, how can he get a chance for a La Liga club? But La Liga can't. West Second can do it too. Ye Luo firmly believed. As long as he can get the chance to play professionally, he can be a blockbuster. Unexpectedly, I haven't looked for it yet. There are scouts sent to the door. It went so smoothly that Ye Luo had no choice but to doubt it. Is this guy a liar? You can't blame Ye Luo for being too thoughtful. Away from home. Don't pay attention, just wait to be eaten and wiped clean. I saw the doubt and distrust in Ye Luo's eyes. Phil Nollard wasn't annoyed either. It is normal to have distrust in the face of strangers. Normal people are wary of strangers. But he was really optimistic about Ye Luo. As a veteran scout in Malaga. During this period of time, he has been observing Ye Luo's performance in the Longo Olympic team. High speed. The kick is hard. If he can get proper training, he has the potential to be the main player in the first team of the La Liga team. Even if you can't play the main force in La Liga. Be a substitute, or sell to the second division in the future. It is also an income for Malaga. Phil Norad took out a business card. Young man, there is my phone number and the address of the Malaga Youth Training Academy. Don't worry, this training invitation must be an official trial training invitation from Malaga. You will not be charged any fees for the trial training. Board and lodging included. If you are not at ease, you can go to the Malaga training base by yourself, and take a train from here. It only takes more than an hour. I have already sent you the game video to the Youth Training Academy, and when the time comes, you can report yourself to the Youth Training Academy. Phil Norad patted Ye Luo on the shoulder. Turn away. That's the job of a scout. In Phil Norad's view, Ye Luo has some talents. But this talent is not strong enough to make Ye Luo have to go to Malaga at any price. Even he just gave Ye Luo an invitation for a trial training. He can't guarantee whether it will pass or not. The work of scouts is only responsible for submitting scouting reports to the youth academy and recommending players. As for whether the youth trainees will keep this person in the end, then it has nothing to do with him. Ye Luo watched the back of the big fat Spanish man leaving. Some information about La Liga club Malaga flashed through my mind. If he remembers correctly, Malaga will be greatly reinforced in this winter window, and their new head coach is the former Real Madrid head coach, Chilean engineer Manuel Pellegrini. If you can join Malaga, it is indeed a good platform for the current Ye Luo. If you can integrate the 3 SS level templates as soon as possible, you don't need much. You only need to reach 50% of the integration progress, which is considered first class in La Liga. Star level. Pellegrini has no reason not to be impressed by himself, and it is not too much to become the top star in a club like Malaga. This big fat man really doesn't look like a liar. After all, if he has no money on him, what can he cheat? In addition, Malaga is also a La Liga club. If I remember correctly, Pellegrini just replaced O'Neill as Malaga's new coach in the first 2 weeks. Next 2 seasons, Malaga will continue to score in the top 4 of La Liga to participate in the Champions League. I chose Malaga as a springboard to start. Also just right. Then, why not go? Ye Luo put the business card in his pocket. Go to the hotel where you live. Now that we have broken up with the Olympic team. Then he just took the opportunity to slip away. Next, I have to take out the salute, and then take the train to Malaga. Find a hotel near the Malaga Youth Academy to stay for 1 night first, and tomorrow morning, go to the Malaga Youth Academy for trial training. At the same time, in the field, Li Tai walked aside with his mobile phone. I am talking to the general manager of the Dragon National Football Association, Program Yuan. Mr. Cheng, this is the case. How do you think we need to deal with it? Li Tai asked. How else can I deal with it? Disobedience to the coaching staff's arrangement, challenging the coach's authority, disorganized and undisciplined thorns, I will be fired immediately, and an announcement will be made to explain the reason for the dismissal. Program Yuan said on the other end of the phone. Understand. Li Tai nodded repeatedly. By the way, there's nothing wrong with the Maraca Cup, right? The national team's performance is not good recently. The Olympic team needs to win a few games to boost the fans' confidence in the national team, and also slightly improve the negative situation of our national team. Public opinion. Ye Luo is not important. What program court cares about is the Maraca Cup. The Maraca Cup is an invitational tournament for international youth teams in Spain. 16 youth teams are invited to participate each year. This year, the Longwa National Olympic team was also invited to participate, so the sports channel of Longwa National TV station also purchased the broadcast rights of the Maraca Cup. At that time, the performance of the Olympic team in the Maraca Cup will be followed by fans all over the country. Don't worry, Mr. Cheng, our opponent in the first match is the Malaga youth team. The opponent sent the U18 team to participate, and the age is only between 17 and 18 years old. The players of our Olympic team are all over 20, and they will afraid of young players aged 17 or 18. This game must be won. Li Tai patted his chest to make sure. That's good. Program Yuan on the other end of the phone laughed. Work hard, Xiao Li. I will personally supervise the match in 2 days. If the Olympic team can pass the Olympic qualifiers and go to London, the position of the national team is reserved for you. Thank you, Mr. Cheng, for cultivating. Li Tai nodded and smiled flatteringly. After hanging up the phone, the smirk turned into a sneer. Kid. And I kicked my son. I'd like to see. How capable are you? As soon as this announcement comes out, Ye Luo is completely hopeless in Longwa football. After Xu Jiyuan hung up the phone, he didn't take this matter to heart. Just a thorny head who is not very obedient. In his opinion, one finger can crush him to death. Do you still want to make waves in Longwa football? Impossible. Longwa football does not allow such uncontrolled stabs to exist. Disobedient? Then stop kicking. 10 minutes later. The official website of the Dragon National Football Association and the official caller of the Dragon National Football Association issued an announcement simultaneously. Olympic team player Ye Luo openly refused the coach's arrangement, resisted the coach's tactics, and was disorganized and disciplined. He is now expelled from the Olympic team and suspended for 2 years by national teams at all levels. This announcement is hereby. As soon as the announcement comes out, public opinion was shaken. This is the football player from Dragon Country. Awesome, blatantly contradicting the coach. No organization, no discipline, no sense of national honor. Can this fucking football be done? Good expulsion. Such a player must not be allowed to enter the national team. Has he been banned for only 2 years? It should be banned for life. Ye Luo. Is that Dragon Kingdom Beckham? Longwa Beckham is just a good-looking little boy with a bad temper and a bad temper. Deserved. Good punishment. For a while, fans left angry messages on the internet. The truth often give way to emotion. Ye Luo's Weibo was also rushed in by angry fans. Moment. There are tens of thousands of messages. Direction of public opinion. Very bad for Ye Luo. Inside the hotel, Ye Luo unloaded the scarf. Stand in front of the bathroom mirror. Clean and neat short hair, delicate facial features with a bit of youthful innocence. Of course he knew. Now I don't have the capital to fight against the FA. The opponent is a giant. And yourself is nobody. So, now if you go up to the line by yourself, it will definitely be photographed by the turbulent public opinion without leaving any scum. Unless he can become a behemoth that the FA cannot shake. Unless you can step out of your own monument on the football field. Soccer, the winner is king. Ye Luo, you have no way out. Ye Luo said in a low voice. End of this chapter. Chapter 5 The Monster Genius. Chapter 5, Monster Genius. At this moment, the sound of the system rang. Ding, you activate the main task of the system, sign the Malaga youth team. Task rewards, 1 fusion point, 2, C-level random gift box *1. The next morning. The bright sun of the Iberian Peninsula hits the turf of Malaga's youth academy. Inside the office building. On the desk of Bruno Schultz, head coach of Malaga U18 youth team, there is basic information about Ye Luo. Name, Ye Luo. Date of birth, May 1993, 2. Nationality, Dragon country. Height, 176 centimeters. Weight, 71 kilograms. Position, left winger/right winger/shadow striker/attacking midfielder. Advantages, fast speed, high success rate of in-cut shots, strong shot power, not afraid of confrontation, side attack rate is basically qualified. Disadvantages, single offensive means in the frontcourt, poor sense of defensive position, low accuracy in crossing, too strong desire to shoot. This is a player who is going to try out today. Phil thinks he can get a chance in La Liga within the next year. Bruno said. His assistant Enzo Rodriguez showed a rather interested expression upon hearing this. It's worth our attention. Phil Norad is a veteran scout in Malaga, and the players he likes are indeed worthy of special attention. Before the lads of the team came to the training ground, the two coaches took the time to watch the video of Ye Luo's game edited by Phil Norad. The speed is good, the shooting power is also great, and the fighting spirit is also tenacious. But the basic skills are a bit flawed. The timing of the shot is also wrong. The two were discussing. Just now. Someone is calling. The trial player Ye Luo has arrived. Let's go, let's see how good this Dragon Kingdom genius is. If it's just shown in the video, maybe he's still a little bit far from La Liga. Bruno Schultz said. There are many players who come to the youth academy for trial training every year. But not many can really stay and gain a foothold. In fact, trial training is not a one-off deal. But there is a training process. This process is to train with the youth academy for a period of time. Let the coaches see the potential of this player. And in the process, trial players take care of their own food and lodging. So coming to tryouts doesn't mean anything. Just train with it. What players need is to fully demonstrate their advantages during the training period and impress the club's coaches in order to get a contract. Of course Ye Luo did not meet the head coach of the U18 youth team, Bruno Schultz, immediately. Before the tryout, there will also be a basic physical fitness test. Mainly speed, explosive power, physical fitness and so on. After some testing, Bruno Schultz got a side report that wowed him. Ye Luo already had a talent for speed, after superimposing, % of de Luo's speed talent. His speed is even faster. Sprint speed for the first 30 meters, 3.83 seconds. This kid's speed is much faster than I thought. Assistant coach Enzo exclaimed. Maybe we found a treasure. Schultz smiled. In football, especially for a striker, speed is the most pure talent. Although physical fitness and confrontation are also related to talent, acquired training can greatly make up for the gap in talent in this area. In other words, these can all be practiced. Only speed is completely gifted. If you want to improve your speed by training the day after tomorrow, the effect cannot be said to be non-existent, but the speed of improvement is really limited. Some people are born fast. Of course. Even fast, there are different types. Some people start fast, and some people accelerate quickly. Relatively speaking. In football, players who start faster have an advantage. Because a football field is not a meter track. So generally speaking, the speed test for players in the youth training academy is often a 30-meter sprint speed, not a meter speed. What is the concept of a 3.83 meter speed in 30 seconds? This is top-notch startup speed. Similar to Ronaldo back then. Passing to himself 3 seconds later is something that players with such speed talent can do. Of course, Schultz has a little more confidence in Ye Luo who has such a speed. There are still some regrets in my heart. What a pity. If Ye Luo, who has such a speed talent, has been trained in the Spanish youth training system since he was a child, he can at least become the top wave of players in his age group. Now maybe they are all well-known young geniuses. Longwa's backward youth training system is simply a waste of such talents. Schultz shook his head regretfully. Then put down the side data in your hand. Just look at this body profile. Schultz would also give Ye Luo a chance. Let him join the training. Ye Luo got his own training vest. You will be training with the U18 these days. Whether you can impress the coach to let you stay and sign you a formal contract depends on your performance. Good luck to you, young man. The equipment manager smiled as he handed Ye Luo the training equipment. Thank you, I'll stay. Ye Luo said. The equipment administrator gave a thumbs up. I like your confidence. Ye Luo smiled slightly. Stay in Malaga youth team. Is it hard? It's really not difficult. At least. Now in the training ground of Malaga U18. From the trainer. To the players. The expressions are very consistent, the mouth is open, the expression is numb, and the eyes are full of fear and shock. Schultz felt his legs shaking. Okay. He sat down on a courtside chair early. Otherwise, he might just sit on the court, and that would be a shame. You can't blame Schultz for not being calm enough. It is really unbelievable what happened on the field. The training before the scrims was normal. Shuttle runs, passes, laps, and more. Ye Luo easily blended in. Schultz is also satisfied. But until the start of the inter-team match. Everything is normal. And after the game started. Everything has completely deviated from the track Schultz expected. The inter-team match is divided into 2 halves, 25 minutes each. The results of it? There are 5 minutes left in the first half. Ye Luo is already 4 years old. Yes. It's a big 4. 2 10 minutes, big 4. The 3th minute of the game. Ye Luo took the ball and scored with a long shot. Then he performed a 3-person performance on the wing, facing the goalkeeper single-handedly with a burst shot and easily hitting the net. After a header from a corner kick, Ye Luo overwhelmed the 2 central defenders and headed the ball into the goal. The last goal was a shot inside after a long run from the wing. The football ran into the dead corner against the turf. Long shot. Consecutive single-handed scoring. Header. Cut inside. 4 goals. All of them are wonderful, and all of them are completed in different ways. Showing a scoring ability that stunned the coaches of the Malaga youth team on the sidelines. The players of the Malaga U18 youth team are like children in front of Ye Luo. It is not a level existence at all. Ye Luo almost takes whatever he wants. Get the ball and finish the shot. In 10 minutes, Ye Luo has completed 8 shots and scored 4 goals. Enzo Rodriguez's hands were also shaking. Oh shit. What kind of monster is this? Enzo, who was a guest referee, looked at Schultz on the sidelines. After the two made eye contact, Enzo understood what Schultz meant. This game can't go on. Go on like this. The confidence of the players of the Malaga U18 youth team is about to be completely destroyed. A tryout. It actually caused such a catastrophic consequence. Enzo blew his whistle immediately, ending the game. The players of the Malaga U18 youth team were relieved. They looked at Ye Luo. The previous contempt had completely disappeared, replaced by fear. This monster. Where did it come from? Everyone thought with tingling scalp. End of this chapter. Chapter 6 Update Plan. I haven't signed a contract yet, but it shouldn't be a big problem to sign a contract. Twice a day before the shelves. Update at 0:06 a.m. and, frowny face, p.m. the next day. Ask for a wave of recommendation votes and investment. The outline of the new book has reached 1 million words, and you will definitely not lose money by investing in this book. End of this chapter. Chapter 7 Youth Team Contracts. Chapter 6 Youth Team Contracts. Ye Luo did feel relaxed. On the court again, his feeling is completely different from before. Football is like an extension of his hands and feet. The inside cut shot was originally an offensive routine that he was good at. But now compared to his inside cut, the previous inside cut is nothing worth mentioning. The first is the feeling of stopping the ball. Much improved than before. An attack with sufficient threat is related to a perfect stop. Ye Luo was deployed to the left wing, playing as a left winger, taking advantage of his ability to cut inside with his right foot. Under these circumstances, Ye Luo's substitute team's offensive routine is to attack on the right side to empty the left side, and then transfer to the left side with a long pass. Create space for the left winger to break through. In fact, this is also part of the trial training. Schultz wants to see Ye Luo's ability to attack with the ball. After all, in the data, the inside shot is Ye Luo's signature feature. With such a simple attacking routine, Ye Luo unexpectedly staged a big four in a short period of time. He stops the ball very well and starts up fast. Especially the position selection of the shot and the accuracy of the shot are quite good, of course. This is after all superimposed by % of the top-level Cristiano Ronaldo's shooting ability. The reason why Ronaldo was able to become the professional football player who scored the most goals in official games later, although he was often criticized for transforming into a pie-eating striker in the later stage, but he was able to score so many goals is not without his unique skills. His greatest characteristic. It's his choice of timing. In terms of shooting position, Ronaldo may be the best level in history. That's why his transformation was so successful. From the position of blaster on the side to the position of pure scorer, he can still kill the quartet. In addition, Ye Luo also superimposed % of Ronaldinho's sense of the ball and % of Ronaldinho's breakthrough. This greatly increased the threat of Ye Luo's signature in-cut shot. 3 Ronaldo serve Ye Luo alone. Could this luck be any less? What's the matter, coach? Ye Luo was in high spirits. Can scoring 4 goals in this training match impress the coach of the youth team? How about trying a few more? Unexpectedly, Schultz actually stopped the game. Ye Luo had no choice but to run over to ask why. This kid is also familiar. Bruno Schultz thought. He looked Ye Luo up and down, and said, there is no need to continue this game. If you continue, the confidence of my players will be destroyed by you, kid. This kid's long-range shots, dribbles, inside cuts, and headers each scored 1. It's like showing off your arsenal. Boy, are you willing to sign a youth team contract with Malaga? Schultz asked. Ye Luo was taken aback. Although he knew that it was not too difficult to sign for Malaga, when he really had the opportunity to get the contract, he still had a huge stone in his heart. Seeing Ye Luo's reaction, Schultz thought that Ye Luo was only dissatisfied with the youth team contract. He hurriedly explained, this is my authority as the coach of the youth team. I will immediately recommend you to the head coach of the first team. With your ability, it doesn't make much sense in the youth team. You must get professional league experience as soon as possible. As long as you can impress the head coach of the first team, the professional contract of the first team will be sent to you soon, as long as you can stably show the ability you just showed. Schultz explained, by the way, you have broker. Ye Luo. It's Ye Luo, sir. Ye Luo couldn't help correcting, then shook his head and said, I don't have an agent yet, but I can sign the Malaga youth team contract first, that's no problem. Sign the youth team contract first, then complete the system tasks. What's more, as long as you have enough strength, are you afraid that you won't have a professional contract? I'm afraid that the boss who bought Malaga will worry about how to keep the super talent of the Malaga youth team. The binding power of the youth team is too low. Ye Luo didn't need to hesitate at all when he signed the youth team contract. Hearing that Ye Luo agreed to sign the contract, Schultz was overjoyed. Not even training. Directly hand over the training tasks to assistant coach Rodriguez. He took Ye Luo to complete the contract signing. I was afraid that Ye Luo would slip away during this process. It's okay not to watch closely. Not to mention the youth team players. Even professional players can get on the plane and disappear in the medical examination room. After signing his name on a Malaga youth team contract, both Ye Luo and Schultz breathed a sigh of relief. Congratulations, young man, you won't regret your choice today. Bruno Schultz laughed. Yes, I will start from here. Ye Luo responded. Bruno Schultz patted Ye Luo on the shoulder. Now Ye Luo is a player of Malaga youth team. Do you have a place to live? The youth academy can arrange a nearby house for you. The rent is free. In addition, you need to collect your training equipment first. Our youth academy has a special equipment management department. Remember that you don't need it after each training. Take the equipment back and clean it yourself. It's almost time today. Starting tomorrow, you can officially join the training. Bruno Schultz said. Ye Luo nodded, okay, coach. He happened to need to find a place to live nearby. Since the team can arrange it, it will naturally save trouble. And he knew that he would soon leave the training base of the youth academy and enter the training base of the first team. He just needs a chance. A chance to get Pellegrini to take notice. He believed it was impossible for Chilean engineers to ignore him. Wait for Bruno Schultz to leave. Ye Luo opened the task panel of the system. At this point, the main task of signing with the Malaga youth team is completed. Get a fusion point bonus that rewards you with 1 point. Fusion point balance, 2. Ye Luo let out a long sigh. Why do the 3 templates have to be synchronized? Otherwise, wouldn't I be able to get a 100% SS level template ability now? What a pity. Ye Luo looked at another reward. C-level random gift box, there is a chance to get C-level item rewards. Ding! Do you want to open the C-level random gift box? Yes. Ding! Congratulations, you have obtained the item, C-Class Speed Badge. C-Level Speed Badge, Speed +1. Description, a badge that can increase speed. Note, only one badge of the same type can be equipped. Add a little speed. I don't know how much speed a little bit can have. Ye Luo frowned and thought. After equipping this C-Class Speed Badge, there is no feeling of warmth or power surge. It feels like a fake badge is equipped. Just now. The mechanical sound of the system sounds. Ding! You have triggered the main task, scoring the first game goal. Task reward, Fusion Point *2, C-Class Random Gift Box *2. End of this chapter. Chapter 8 The Top 10 Geniuses in History. Chapter 7 The Top 10 Geniuses in History. Score the first game goal. It seems to represent the goal of the Malaga youth team. Ye Luo thought to himself. So who will Malaga U18's next match be against? Malaga U18s are playing in the Spanish Youth League, Juvenil A. This is the highest level of competition in the Spanish Youth League. There are 7 groups in total, with 16 teams participating in each group. The group stage adopts the home and away knockout system. The group champion can participate in the playoffs, that is, the Spanish Youth Champions League. The winner will win the Youth League Championship of the season. He opened the official website of the Malaga club to check the Malaga U18 schedule. Malaga's Youth Academy U-Series team starts at the age of 9 and goes all the way to U21. However, generally U21 players basically have to train and play with the reserve team and no longer participate in the youth league. Moreover, if players who are over 20 years old want to take the path of professional players, they must seek to compete in the professional league at this time. Those who can't play in La Liga can go to lower-level leagues to find opportunities. The league system of any football powerhouse will be very large. There is an unimpeded passage from the top leagues to the grassroots regional leagues. Many La Liga players have actually experienced in low-level leagues, and were discovered by La Liga teams before finally appearing in the top league. U18. Ye Luo frowned and looked at the screen full of Spanish. He can speak some Spanish. But compared to speaking, literacy will be more difficult. However, Spanish is an alphabetic language under the Latin family. If you know the basic spelling rules, being able to speak means being able to read. Therefore, Ye Luo also quickly found the U18 schedule. The next game, the first match of the Morocco Cup group stage, the opponent. Ye Luo's eyes suddenly widened, and then he reacted suddenly and slapped himself hard on the forehead. My memory, how can I even forget the Malaga youth team? Isn't it the opponent of the Olympic team in the next match? The Morocco Cup. The domestic media is promoting it every day. Thinking of this, Ye Luo couldn't help getting excited. The Morocco Cup is not considered a youth event that has attracted much attention in Europe, and its reputation is not even as good as the WF Cup held in China. But during this period of time, the domestic media are promoting this event because of the participation in the National Olympic Games. Moreover, the Morocco Cup is an invitational competition for youth teams. Basically, the invited clubs send their own U18 teams to participate. That is to say, the following players. And even if Longwo Guao doesn't count the age change, he is already 21 years old. At least 2 years older. In professional football, around the age of 20 is a critical period for entering a professional league. At this age, a year difference is a huge difference. The average age of players in the Dragon Kingdom and Olympic Games is 2 years older on the surface, but in fact it may be 3 or 4 years old. Therefore, it is actually very advantageous to participate in such a youth invitational tournament. Hope to get a good result. That's why the domestic media are so hard-pressed to promote it, because everyone has expected that in the Morocco Cup, the Olympic team has the opportunity to play a few big victories. But Ye Luo narrowed his eyes. His reputation is basically stink in the domestic football circle now. Contradicting the head coach, disobeying management, being disorganized and disciplined, having no sense of national honor, and so on are all hats on my own head. Originally, Ye Luo thought it would take a long time to clean these hats. Did not expect. The opportunity is here. It would be nice to get media interviews after the game. Ye Luo closes the web page. Go to bed. Get a good night's sleep and stay in great shape. As an athlete, these are all part of self-discipline. And this time. In the training base of the first team, in the team's office building. Coach Manuel Pellegrini's office is still brightly lit. It's been a rough time in Malaga. Former head coach Ferreira was fired after 9 games in La Liga. The reason for dismissal is of course directly related to grades. In the 9 rounds of the league, Malaga only won 1 game, drew 2 games, and lost 6 games. Malaga, who scored only 5 points, is only 9 rounds ahead of the La Liga standings and has yet to win. Only Zaragoza, which scored 4 points in 4 draws, has 1 point and ranks number 19 in the league standings. Name. After Ferreira was fired. Former Real Madrid coach Pellegrini took over the team. Generally speaking, changing coaches changes tools. After a coaching change, the team generally has a small rebound. But Malaga's situation is still very bad after Pellegrini took over. In the 10th round of the league, they lost, away to the Spaniard. League number 11 home game was tied, by Levante. League number 12 away game lost cleanly to Deportivo, In the 13th round of the league, they lost to Morocco, away. Pellegrini has only scored 1 point in 4 games since taking over. Let the local media in Malaga be blown up. And worse. The next round of the league. In the number 14 round of the league, the team will challenge Real Madrid away. Of course. With the strength of Malaga, generally speaking, they will not dream of scoring points at the Bernabeu. However, this game is probably not as simple as not being able to score points. But Malaga faced a wounded beast. In the number 13 round of the league, Real Madrid was slaughtered by Barcelona, at Camp Nou in an away game. Mourinho's team suffered an unprecedented defeat. They urgently need a big victory to restore the team's confidence and to give an explanation to the fans and the media in Madrid. In this case, Pellegrini's team is very likely to become Real Madrid's punching bag. Naturally, there is no doubt about the strength of Real Madrid, they are the team with the most valuable lineup in the world. Malaga in front of Real Madrid, as if David stood in front of the giant Goliath. It is very likely to be trampled to death. If there is another big defeat at the Bernabeu, the confidence of the team may plummet to the point of no return. So Pellegrini and his coaching team are exhausted, hoping to lead Malaga to retreat from the Bernabeu. However, blessings come without pairs, and misfortunes never come singly. The team's important attackers, Uruguayan forward Bastian Fernandez and local winger Luke, are both absent due to injuries. The only forwards available for this game are Moroccan veteran Baha and Portuguese player Edinho, who is also over, years old. Relying on these 2 old guys, I am afraid that it will be difficult to have enough impact on Real Madrid's defense. At that time, Mourinho's team can safely press forward and completely suppress Malaga at home. Now for Pellegrini and his team, the only good news is that after the end of the number 13 league round, it will be a half-month-long FIFA International Match Day. The team got a half-month trimming and adjustment period. Coupled with the fact that Real Madrid is a big player in the national team, maybe the national team's game will make Real Madrid affected by the FIFA virus and give Malaga a little chance. Just when Pellegrini was summarizing the failures in the office since he led the team, Bruno, head coach of the U18 youth team, made a surprise visit. And said something that made Pellegrini extremely astonished. "Sir, there is a top 10 genius in history in my team. I haven't signed a contract yet, wait for 2 updates after signing." It exploded immediately after it was put on the shelves. Everyone can rest assured to collect and invest. Absolutely rest assured that the quality is guaranteed. Ask for a wave of recommendation tickets. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. There's a snap, so fast. Chapter 8. There was a snap, very quickly. Top 10 geniuses in history. Pellegrini stared at Bruno, wanting to see a little joking look on the face of the old youth coach. Or a hint of senile dementia. But it's a pity. The old coach had piercing eyes and a firm expression. It doesn't look like a joke at all. "Old Bruno, are you kidding me?" Pellegrini shook his head and said. He is not an inexperienced coach, he was the head coach of Real Madrid last season. Pellegrini knows that some youth coaches sometimes exaggerate a little in order to recommend their favorites to the first team. But if you want to say, "I have a genius here," or "I have a super genius here," Pellegrini can bear it. But you can't move the top 10 in history. That's a bit of an exaggeration. Do you understand the concept of the top 10 in history? Really? What is the old man looking for here at this late hour? And I don't have time to pay attention to the youth academy in Malaga. He has been with the team for less than a month. Now the team has only scored 1 point in 4 games. The pressure on the coaching staff is unprecedented. Who still has the mind to pay attention to the youth training students? "I'm not kidding, I'm telling the truth," Bruno said. Pellegrini frowned, a little angry. He was already in a bad mood. Top 10 in history. Do you mean that there is a young Messi in Malaga's youth academy? Now I don't have time to pay attention to the youth academy. Bruno, Malaga's first team is not playing for the youth academy. What we need now are points, points. Points, do you understand? Pellegrini said loudly. The sound made some of the coaching staff and staff of Malaga's first team on the floor poke their heads at the door. He's not Messi. Bruno shook his head and said, he's just a trial player, but he scored 4 goals in just 10 minutes in the team game, and he scored in different ways. Long-distance raids have been practiced with several people single-handedly facing the goalkeeper to score goals, cutting shots from the left side, overpowering the defenders in the small penalty area to score with a header, and a beautiful long shot. His offensive methods are very rich, although he still has a lot of experience in the game. What he lacks, but he has more than enough means to torture defenders. A smile appeared on the corner of Bruno's mouth. "So, I think he will be the player you need, Mr. Pellegrini. And I think the youth team game is of little significance to such a player. He needs to appear in the professional arena, and he should be given a professional contract." Pellegrini calmed down upon hearing this. Trial players, 2 and 10 minutes big 4. It really deserves his attention. And Bruno is an old youth training coach, since he said that, he is not aimless. "I'm sorry, Bruno." Pellegrini apologized after he calmed down. He has been under a lot of pressure recently, but he really shouldn't get angry in the face of the youth training coach. "It's okay, Mr. Coach." Bruno smiled. "I have a video of his performance in this game. You can take a look. In another 3 days, we will play a game with the Dragon Kingdom Olympic team. The opponent, he is more than 2 years older than us. Maybe this game can bring enough pressure to my boys, and then, you can go to the scene to see his performance." After taking the USB flash drive from Bruno, Pellegrini nodded slightly. "I will watch his performance, and hope he can surprise me." 3 days later, the team's international players will leave the team, and the team will not practice any tactics in training, just let the assistant coach lead the team. So Pellegrini has time to watch a youth team game. You won't be disappointed. I will never let you down. Before training the next day, Bruno called Ye Luo to the office. When Pellegrini is going to examine his performance. Ye Luo was almost jumping up with joy. The smile on his face couldn't be concealed at all. The corners of the mouth are grinning to the earlobe. What a straight guy. Bruno laughed too. Of course he knew that this was a very rare opportunity for Ye Luo. The team's two main forwards are both injured, and now they are supported by two veterans, so you have to work hard in this game and show your scoring weapons to conquer our head coach. Bruno patted Ye Luo on the shoulder and said, "Don't worry, coach, I will definitely conquer our head coach." The first team won many rounds. Scoring ability is worrying. The main striker injured too. What a great opportunity this is. Ye Luo is very clear that it is very difficult for ordinary youth training players to get opportunities step by step. Unless this is the case now. Key players are injured. Only players from the youth team can be called up to play. If you perform well and can withstand the pressure, you are likely to get opportunities one after another. And if the performance is not good, not only the opportunity is gone, but the confidence may also drop a lot. And in Bruno's view, in terms of personal ability, Ye Luo has reached the ability to play in La Liga. But whether he is mentally prepared or not depends on whether his own mentality is strong enough. Now it seems. Ye Luo is very optimistic and often has a smile on his face, which shows that he is an outgoing and very sunny player. Such players tend to burst out their potential in more important games. Go and prepare for training. I will arrange tactics around you these days. If you can't impress me in training these days, I won't let you play. Mr. Coach, don't worry, I'm sure I can do it. Ye Luo smiled. Then he ran out of the head coach's office excitedly. The moment you walk out the door. He clenched his fist hard. Yes. Bruno in the office also smiled when he saw Ye Luo's behavior like this. As the coach of the youth training, he actually doesn't care about the performance of the youth team. The task of the Youth Training Academy is not to win any championships or how many games to win, but to train strong enough professional players. Therefore, in a game, a player who has just joined the team is the core. This is quite a risky behavior in the professional arena. But it's nothing in the youth team's game, because winning or losing is not Bruno's first consideration. Just now. Ye Luo, who ran out not long ago, suddenly turned back. Bruno looked up. What, is there anything else? He asked. Ye Luo snapped and bowed 90 degrees. Thank you, Mr. Coach. Bruno was taken aback. Then he laughed. It seems that this kid's emotional control ability is quite good. When I was so excited, I could still think of such a scene. Signed the contract, 2 updates will start today, usually at, frowny-face- and, frowny-face- PM, everyone knows. Also ask for another wave of recommendations and investment. It was a blast at the beginning, and it was so cool all the way to the shelves, work hard. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Doesn't it look like Director Lee's foresight? In training. The U18 teammates felt Ye Luo's excitement. Especially the goalkeeper who faced Ye Luo in the team training match. They will all be shot by Ye Luo. But Ye Luo is actually a crazy person, with a very outgoing personality, and he quickly became friends with his new teammates. His strength lies here, and he will definitely be a star in La Liga in the future. Of course, the U18 players can't afford to offend Ye Luo. Moreover, with Ye Luo's demonstrated strength, it is not certain that he will become a superstar in the future. Don't think that you don't talk about contacts abroad. Those who say that foreigners don't talk about connections are probably because you haven't mixed into their circle. After a day of training. After returning to his residence, Ye Luo turned on the computer to watch domestic football news. Sure enough, news of a large number of Maraca Cups began to flood. But it's all about the news about the Olympic team under Lithier's command. The preparations for the National Olympics, the press conference before the game, the confidence displayed by Li Tai, etc. Let the domestic fans very excited. Under the hype of the domestic media. This unremarkable Maraca Cup has become a well-known event, such as a well-known youth event in Europe, and many youth teams of rich teams are also flocking to it. Let's hype it up. The harder the hype is, the harder it will be for me to slap me in the face. Ye Luo thought. It can be said that his current domestic image is basically based on traitors, and the image of Longwa football is not good. The scandal of a Dragon Country football player. That's news that not only the fans, but all the melon-eating people in the country love to hear. In short, now Ye Luo is famous in another way. And the way to wash away the bad name is also very simple. As long as he is strong enough. Because he is an athlete. It's not a trainee who has practiced for 2.5 years. He doesn't rely on his face for food. It depends on strength. As long as he shows enough strength. Even if he doesn't say anything. Naturally, there are fans who talk to him, clean up his guilt, and clean up his grievances. Not to mention. How could he not say anything? If he hits the mark. For example, playing in La Liga. The pre-match press conferences and post-match news interviews of each game are channels for speaking out. No matter how powerful the Dragon Country Football Association is, can it cover the mouths of the national media? Not to mention. Now is the internet age. Ye Luo, who was thinking about how to slap his face more severely after the game, suddenly froze for a moment. Then a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. The mechanical sound of the system rang in his mind. Ding! You have triggered the system side mission, face the Dragon Country Football Association. Mission description, clean up the grievances slandered by the Dragon Country Football Association in the Maraca Cup, and slap the Dragon Country Football Association in the face in front of the Dragon Country fans. Task reward, based on the task completion score. In other words, the harder the slap, the richer the reward. Ye Luo suddenly became more motivated, wishing to go on the court immediately, killing the quartet, killing Li Tai's Olympic team. 3 days passed in a flash. In these 3 days, the perspective of Longwa media reports is all around the Longwa Olympic Games. Did not find any changes in their opponent Malaga U18 youth team. Or they didn't know about Malaga U18, and Longwa fans didn't want to know about the youth team of a La Liga relegation team. Fans are not interested. Naturally, the Longwa media didn't pay attention. So 1 hour before the game. Locker room. Li Tai, who got the opponent's starting list, frowned. Ye Luo. He stared at the name of the number 18 Malaga U7 player on the list. This name sounds familiar. Could it be that kid? Li Tai's brows became tighter and tighter. Just now. His assistant, Guo Tao, who is also the leader of the Olympic team, ran in hastily. He was supposed to take the players to the court to warm up. The venue for this match was a public football stadium in Malaga. Although there were not many spectators for the youth team match, many fans from Malaga came to watch the match. But before the match, do some warm-up. By the way, adapting to the venue is also one of the competition procedures. Old Li, guess who I saw? It's Ye Luo. That kid actually joined Malaga U18. Guo Tao said with a bit of panic on his face. Not only did he join the Malaga U18s, he also started with number 7. Li Tai gave Guo Tao the official starting list of the tournament just obtained. What? It's still starting. Guo Tao was shocked, and then he lowered his voice and said, there won't be any trouble, right? Li Tai sneered, what trouble can there be? That kid is a little level, but that's not enough. Just pay attention to his in-cut shot. What's more, it's not a bad thing for us, at least we know this kid very well. Yes. As long as he can't do anything in this game, there will be no trouble. Guo Tao said, I'll watch the warm-up, and then think about how to freeze this kid. I think this kid can get the opportunity to play, must be suffocated to perform, and it may drag down the overall performance of the opponent. Li Tai nodded, it's no big deal, even if we don't win this game, we must never let this kid have any chance to perform. As long as you know what's in your mind. Guo Tao nodded, and then ran out in a hurry. Just now. Li Tai's phone rang. Li Tai hurriedly answered, Mr. Cheng. What's going on? Why did that kid run to the opposite side? The program source on the other end of the phone seemed very upset. Mr. Cheng, don't worry, a little accident, the situation is still under my control. Li Tai patted his chest and promised. I've already spoken out in this match. I absolutely can't lose, and I can't give that kid a chance to stand up and speak out. Understood. We will definitely not lose if we fight the small with the big. Li Tai said, and that kid's strength is just like that. He has some characteristics. If we don't understand it, he might have a chance to show off. For a moment, he has no chance to show his characteristics. It's not that Li Tai looked down on Ye Luo. Rather, he did understand Ye Luo before. Being able to enter the National Olympics at the age of 17 is of course a bit of strength. But from Li Tai's point of view, that's all. It's not difficult to freeze such a wide attacker. Especially if you are prepared. And Li Tai thinks that Ye Luo must be trying to show off now. At that time, he will definitely take the ball and do it alone, dragging down the offensive rhythm of the Malaga youth team. If he is replaced by the coach of the Malaga youth team because of his poor performance, it will not be more obvious that this kid has no strength, is thorny, has a high EQ but not a high golf quotient, and at the same time, it also seems that he is very polite. Is it the vision of Director Li? Ask for a recommendation ticket, ask for follow-up reading. End of this chapter. Chapter 11. Chapter 10. Here comes the moth. The source of the program and a group of high-level football associations sat in the stands. In addition to the few local Malaga fans who came to watch the youth team game in Malaga, this game was the exception. There are not many fans in Longwa, they are all local Chinese. Instead, many reporters came. In the press box. The sharp-eyed reporters saw Ye Luo on the football field at a glance. Oh, isn't that Dragon Kingdom Beckham Ye Luo? He actually joined Malaga U18. I thought he was finished in domestic football, but I didn't expect it. There is no unparalleled road. It's not bad to be able to play abroad, but it's a pity. With his strength, he should be able to play the main force in the Super League in 2 years. This is an opportunity to make a lot of money, so I just missed it. What a pity. Still too young. Reporters chattered. With the Changzhou Hengtai team in the Super League opened the big coin mode. The transfer value and salary level of Longwa players in the Super League have skyrocketed as if they were on a rocket. With the strength of the international players of the Dragon Country national team. Most of them can't play the main force in the second division. What is the salary level of West second division players? The main force can have an annual salary of 50 euros, which is considered to be at the top of the list. And in the country of Dragon, the annual salary of 800 million yuan for the national football team is the starting price. Follow current trends. In the future, the annual salary of an international footballer may be 3,000 to million. So in the eyes of these reporters, this opportunity to make a fortune that Longwa Beckham missed. Isn't it just too young? The pattern Tucson is broken. Sitting in the center of the rostrum, Program Yuan could also vaguely hear the discussions of the Longwa reporters just below the rostrum. There was a slight smile on his face, as if he had a plan in mind, but he didn't take Ye Luo too seriously in his heart. It's just a little guy who can't reach it. Just dismiss it, so what if you can play abroad? Malaga is only a relegation team in La Liga. And it's just Malaga's U18 youth team. If he can play in the first team of Malaga, he will be the only seedling of Dragon Country football who is currently studying abroad in the 5 major European leagues. Then the source of the program will be a little worried. Just U18s. Whether he can play in the professional league in the future is a matter of opinion. So nothing to worry about. The camera gave the source of the program. On the TV screen of the sports channel of Longwa National TV station. The close-up of the general manager of the Dragon Country Football Association wearing a pink-striped polo appeared in front of all the Dragon Country fans who were watching the live broadcast in front of the TV. At the same time, the voice of Lu Jianhong, the Queen commentator who commented on the national football game on the sports channel, also reached the ears of all the fans through the TV. Hello, viewers and friends in front of the TV. This is the Maraca Cup Youth Invitational Match live broadcast for you by the National TV Sports Channel. The opponents are the Dragon National Olympic Team and the Malaga Youth Team. As you can see, Program Yuan, General Manager of the Football Association, also came to the scene to supervise the battle. This is part of the Olympic team's training series in Europe. Playing against the youth teams of major European clubs will allow the players of the Olympic team to feel the advanced football tactics in Europe. Lu Jianhong's voice was eloquent and chattering endlessly. It made many fans frown. The commentator's bitter commentary style is really unpleasant. And right now, players from both sides have appeared in the player channel. The players of Longuoguao all turned their heads to look at Ye Luo, who was standing last in the Malaga youth team queue. There may be surprise, envy, or disdain in the eyes. But no one went up to talk to Ye Luo. Although it is said that Ye Luo has a bad relationship with the Olympic team except for a few players, in fact he has no conflicts with most of the Olympic players. We get along well as usual. But because Ye Luo offended Li Tai, the Olympic players didn't dare to talk to Ye Luo at this time. Of course, Ye Luo didn't take the initiative to say hello to his former Olympic teammates. This game is a battle in his mind. A battle to justify your name. Players from both sides are coming out of the player tunnel. It is worth mentioning that among the starters of the Malaga U18 youth team, their number 7 player is Ye Luo, a former Olympic player. As the TV camera locked onto Ye Luo's face. On the internet, the fans are blown away. Fuck. It's him. Didn't it mean that this kid was fired for being unorganized and undisciplined? It's just being expelled from the Olympic Games, not a global ban. What's going on now? The return of the king. The king is a jerk. This kid dares to contradict the coach. And he doesn't have any sense of national honor. Dare to make so many moths while fighting for the country, dogs are rare. Deserves to be fired. But to be able to join the Malaga youth team, don't you have some skills? Fans on the internet have different opinions. A small number of sympathizers spoke for Ye Luo. But most of the fans are angry. After all, people follow the crowd. Under the guidance of the media, Ye Luo has become heinous. And how could he be forgiven just because he joined the Malaga youth team? Ye Luo walked into the field with the players. His eyes looked in the direction of the rostrum. Okay. Even the source of the program came to watch the battle. I'm sorry for the scene if I don't make a big deal this time. Li Tai and his assistant Guo Tao stood on the sidelines. No accidents, right? My right eyelid keeps twitching. Guo Tao felt a little restless. This is broadcast live nationwide. If something goes wrong, how can it end? Li Tai was actually a little apprehensive. But he wasn't too scared. What kind of trouble can Ye Luo make? Expose and report him for receiving red envelopes? This is a football game. It's not a focus interview. Chance he can speak. And on the football field, strength speaks for itself. If you behave badly, no one believed anything. Don't worry, I've checked. It's been less than a week since this kid joined the Malaga youth team. His teammates probably don't recognize him completely. How can he perform well? Guo Tao also nodded when he heard the words. Football is an 11-man game. They don't even recognize their teammates, so what about tacit understanding and teamwork? Just when the two were talking. On the field. The referee has already blown the whistle to start the game. Good audience friends, with the whistle of the referee, the game officially started, and the Malaga team took the lead to kick off. The football moved directly to the left, and it reached Ye Luo's feet. Lu Jianhong, whose voice was still very calm, suddenly roared. Instantly woke up all the fans who were a little drowsy by his Tang Monk-style commentary. Only seen on the TV screen. Ye Luo relaxed and freehand the long pass from the right to stop at his feet. A nice stop. It was too late for everyone to admire. I saw Ye Luo flick the ball suddenly with the instep of his right foot, then flicked his ankle, flicked the ball, and dunked the ball. Ox tail. The football passed between the two defenders, and Ye Luo's figure suddenly slipped past them before they closed the door. Ox tail is amazing. Ye Luo. In Lu Jinhong's exclamation. Ye Luo dribbled the ball and cut to the middle. Subsequently. Right foot volley. Boom. End of this chapter. Chapter 12. At this moment, he shocked the whole country. Chapter 11. At this moment, he shocked the whole country. Boom! The huge sound made the eyes of the people on the scene look at the venue. The football soared into the air, and the non-rotating football drew a strange arc in the air. The goalkeeper of the Olympic team couldn't react at all, and just watched the football fly into the net from the other side of his center of gravity. "This ball is beautiful," Lu Jianhong exclaimed. "Stop the ball, go over the top with an oxtail, cut inside and shoot. All done in one go. Beautiful. This is the voice of everyone. This ball is indeed quite beautiful." And now the game started less than 30 seconds. The ball went in. This made the faces of the Olympic players on the field look blank. Especially the two players who were passed by Ye Luo looked at each other, seeing horror and disbelief in their eyes. They have already gone up to close the door. Normally, they should stop the ball to check the situation, and then return a kick, not asking for nothing but nothing. Who would have thought that Ye Luo would be so adventurous, so bold, and with such good footwork? In this way, the two of them became Ye Luo's background board. At the same time, there was Li Tai who was furious. Li Tai was furious like never before. Before playing, he emphasized that he must pay attention to defending Ye Luo. No matter what the situation, at least two players should be posted to defend. The results of it? As a result, Ye Luo scored a goal just after the game started. And it was such a beautiful goal. "I'm CNM, can you two kick it? Don't kick me down. How did this ball let him pass? TMD." When Li Tai was cursing, the fans on the field were shocked. This is true whether it is a fan of Malaga or a fan of the Dragon Kingdom and the Olympic Games. In fact, many of them have not yet integrated into the game from the relaxed atmosphere at the beginning of the game. Many people are still looking for seats, and many people are still chatting with the people next to them. They did not expect the goal to be scored. But in the stands, in an inconspicuous corner, Malaga club coach Pellegrini and his assistant Maloska could see clearly. Very good sense of the ball, stopping the ball perfectly, and full of adventurous spirit. "I even saw the shadow of Ronaldinho in that oxtail," Maloska exclaimed. Pellegrini nodded. "It seems that Bruno is right, he is indeed good enough to play for the first team." "Is it just playing? Just him? Maybe we can consider giving Mourinho a surprise in the next game," Maloska said. "Facing an opponent like Real Madrid. Confront a wounded beast. To be honest, if you don't seek a little change, Malaga has no chance at all. He's too young." Pellegrini frowned slightly. He didn't want Yellow to make his debut in an environment like the one at the Bernabeu. No doubt. In Pellegrini's heart, with just this ball, Yellow already has a place in his team. Ye Luo is a genius. Pellegrini is sure of this. But the use of talented young players must also be quite cautious. If we talk about the youth training camp, the competition of the youth team is a small stream. Then the La Liga arena is a rough ocean. A fish that can swim freely on a small stream is suddenly released into a rough sea. If one is not careful, it may be killed by a huge wave on the shore. Every year, how many talented players from the youth academy make their debut in La Liga? And then gradually disappeared? Youth academy is one thing, La Liga is another. It is hard to say whether a youth academy talent can adapt to La Liga. Just when Pellegrini was thinking. On the court, Ye Luo, who scored a goal, rejected the cheering teammates who wanted to come up to celebrate together. He ran all the way, towards the coach bench on the sidelines. What is he going to do? There is such a question mark in almost everyone's mind. On the TV screen, the camera's lens also locked on the goal hero. After Ye Luo scored the goal, he ran all the way to the coach's bench. Could it be that he wanted to thank the head coach? Lu Jianhong's expression changed as soon as he finished speaking. Because he found that Ye Luo was running towards the coaching bench of the Olympic team. He was expelled from the Olympic Games. Moreover, Lu Jianhong is the national football queen commentator of the national TV station. He knew a little about the inside story of Ye Luo's expulsion from the Olympic team. He also knows more or less some unspoken rules of national teams at all levels. Therefore, he would never think that Ye Luo was going to thank Li Tai. Then what was he going to do? Next moment. Lu Jianhong's eyes widened, his whole body was shaken, his body suddenly leaned forward, his arm accidentally swiped the information on the desktop, and then all of them fell to the ground, and the audience who were watching the live TV broadcast could clearly hear the information landing. Voice: this is usually a live broadcast accident, and wages are deducted, but now no one cares about this, because compared with the live broadcast accident, what happened on the TV screen is shocking. Under the lens of the camera. Ye Luo ran to Li Tai, the coach of the Olympic team, and stood still. Then the jersey was lifted to reveal the white vest inside. On the front of the vest is a row of words written with a marker. Director Li, you get out by strength, not red envelopes. In front of the boy standing straight. Li Tai was trembling all over. He was so shocked. He had never seen such a bold and unscrupulous Longwa player. Does he know what he is doing? This is a live broadcast. Facing the national live broadcast. He made a fuss. Where should I put my face? This kid. This kid is so fucking thorny. Li Tai's slightly trembling hands could be seen by everyone, and his dodging eyes and flustered expression were also shown on the TV screen. Behind him. It was a member of the coaching staff who was too shocked to say a word. They never expected that there are players from Longwa who would dare to do such a thing. After he makes such a fuss, all domestic teams will know who this guy is in the future. This kind of eyes can't rub the sand, and they are so bold and reckless. Which domestic team can use it? Which team dares to use it? There is nothing shameful about any domestic club. Who dares to use a guy who is so brave? He didn't just slap Li Tai in the face. What he played was the job of everyone in the domestic football circle. No one will use him anymore. This kid is completely finished, and he will never be able to return to the domestic football circle. On the bench. The Olympic players opened their mouths wide open. There was a bit of admiration in the shocked expression. At this moment. With the sideline of the stadium as the dividing line, between Ye Luo and Li Tai, the entire stadium, all the fans watching the game. All were shocked beyond words. End of this chapter. Chapter 13 A Big Slap. Chapter 12, Pop, Snapped, Snapped. Fuck. This. Red envelope. Is there something hidden about being fired? You have to give red envelopes to play, it's an old tradition. On the internet, Dragon Country fans are talking about it. The negative public opinion on Ye Luo, which was originally one-sided, was also reversed at this moment because of this ball. Because this goal is really beautiful. He stopped the ball smartly, with a flick of the bull's tail, he passed two people, and then directly cut in and shot with his right foot. Completed a very beautiful lift ball shot. Such a personal performance, no matter how demanding the audience, will be conquered. Ye Luo stood in front of Li Tai. There was a sneer on the corner of his mouth. He believed that the picture just now had spread all over the country. Do you want me to coax you with a low eyebrow and pleasing eyes before you can kick the ball? No way. I just want to expose your nasty things. Can't get out. I just want to look like a human being. When I become the world's #1 football star in the future, what can you monsters do to me? He stared at Li Tai. The boy's banter made the Dragon Country football star feel stinging, his eyes looked away, but he could feel that the eyes of the whole world seemed to be focused on him. This made him a little at a loss. What a joke. In front of a less than teenager. Li Tai, who was once full of passion, once wandered in England, was once a passionate young man, but now he dare not look at the other party squarely. This made Li Tai sting. He became more and more angry. But nowhere to vent. Fortunately, Ye Luo sneered and walked away. After putting down his jersey, he ran to the stands again. In the press box. The reporters also reflected at this time. This kid is really too bold. What is he going to do? Before everyone had time to digest what had just happened, they saw Ye Luo running under the stands and in front of the group of Longwa Football Association sitting in the middle of the low stands. Then raise your hand. Snapped. Made a slap gesture. Is this slapping the FA? Is this a slap in the face of the general manager of the FA? At the reporter's seat, Program Yuan's face was extremely livid. Smashed. Fuck it. Totally messed up. Imagine. Tomorrow. Do not. It's now. This scene will explode in domestic public opinion. Everyone on the internet will spread the word widely. The news will become a national hit. And the Football Association. The Longwo Football Association can only threaten some football media, such as those media that mainly rely on interviews and write news about the national football team and the Chinese Super League, to threaten to cancel their field interview rights and make them obedient. But they can only go so far. So many national media. Don't talk about newspapers and TV. These are fine. After all, although the Dragon Country Football Association is a non-governmental organization in name. But in fact, it is a set of two brands with the Football Management Center of the National Sports Federation. So, official matters, if the Football Association greets them, it can cover up a little bit. But what year is it now? Now is the internet age. All kinds of large and small online media. Can the FA manage this? This. An official of the Football Association next to Program Yuan pointed to the field, his fingers were trembling, and nothing came out of it for a long time. It's outrageous. On the other side, an official scolded angrily. It's a shame for the country. No organization and no discipline. Who promoted such a thorny head? Pursue it, you must investigate it. A group of bureaucrats were outraged. But they threatened for a long time, but they didn't know how to deal with this situation. If Ye Luo is determined not to mess around in China, they really have nothing to do. At this time, the domestic internet has already been fried. The attention of this youth team game has skyrocketed. Major football forums, Q groups, etc. The video of the goal, the slogan of Ye Luo, the picture of the face being slapped. While shocking the fans, it also instantly refreshed the fans to the extreme. Ye Luo has also changed from a public enemy to a hero who vents his anger on the fans. Why? Because the fans know it. Longwo football has fallen to this point. The culprit, not one or two players. Scolding the players is just hating the house and the black. The real fundamental reason. Or the FA. Still those managers sitting in high positions. They are the ones who should be responsible for the status quo of Dragon Country football in decline and degeneration. Ye Luo slapped. Not just hit the FA in the face. It also hit the psychology of the fans. Well played. Hit second. The Football Association has made a big deal. The Football Association, I am Chow Nima. For a while. On the internet, fans have vented. At the scene. There were even fans of the Dragon Kingdom and the Olympic Games applauding Ye Luo. Well done Ye Luo. Play abroad. Don't go back. Come on. Come on. In the stands. The fans who came to the scene to cheer for the Olympic team turned their backs. They all cheered for Ye Luo. When returning to the stadium, Ye Luo also raised his hands and applauded, thanking the fans for their support. The few spectators were all applauding for this young man. What a boy with personality. Pellegrini saw all this in his eyes. Although he didn't know what happened, anyone could see the conflict between Ye Luo and the coaching staff of Longguo Ao come out. A player, can he be considered a star without any personality? But this at least proves that our young man's psychological quality is not bad, he is very bold. Moloskau laughed. It's the general manager of the Dragon National Football Association. Pellegrini glanced at the stand where the program source was, and then continued to stare at the pitch. He is now more and more interested in Ye Luo. A oxtail made a pass, and an inside cut shot. Then. What other weapons do you have? Just show it. Just like the progress bar in the game. This goal. The progress bar in Pellegrini's heart has been greatly improved. But the distance promoted Ye Luo to play in the first team. That's not far off. Of course Ye Luo knew it too. In fact, the slap in the face of the FA in this game was just a matter of convenience. For him personally. He has to show enough strength in this game. Impress Pellegrini. Under the excitement, Ye Luo could also clearly feel that his strength was indeed much stronger than before. Stopping, passing and shooting are all better. And the key is that his shot selection is also very accurate. He is not only active on the left side, but also often runs to the center and right side to make demands. His ability with the ball tormented the Olympic defenders who wanted to apply for a replacement immediately. He is constantly catching the ball, dribbling, passing the ball, looking for opportunities to shoot. After the game resumed. The focus of the audience. It's all on Ye Luo's body. He's the brightest player on the court right now. Anyone with eyes can see it. His level. It is more than one grade higher than everyone on the court now. End of this chapter. Chapter 14 Pendulum. Here we go again. This game is very unlucky and Ye Luo is facing right-back Zhang Linpeng, who was once selected for the national team and broke the transfer record of a domestic player from the Shanghai East Asia team to the Changzhou Hentai team with a transfer worth of 600 million renminbi. In domestic football, Zhang Linpeng, who is 21 years old this year, is considered a capable player. Otherwise, he wouldn't be favored by the local tycoon team Hentai. This season's Chinese Super League has ended, and Zhang Linpeng won the Super League championship this season with Changzhou Hentai team. At the age of 21, Zhang Linpeng won the best rookie in the Super League this season and was selected as the best team in the Super League this season. It can be said that it has been a bumper year for the young right-back. Although it is often criticized for the defects of position selection and poor sense of position. However, with his physical fitness comparable to that of foreign aid, Zhang Linpeng, who has excellent confrontation ability and explosive power, can often defend and restrict opponents with many foreign aids in the Chinese Super League. His performance has even attracted the attention of many foreign clubs. Unfortunately, now that the value of domestic football players is inflated, it is impossible for foreign clubs to pay too much transfer fee to bring in a Dragon Country player. Of course, Changzhou Hentai can't send players to study abroad at a disadvantage. Such a capable player. In this game, facing Ye Luo, who was more than 3 years younger than him, Zhang Linpeng has withstood the biggest test since his career. The strength of this former Olympic teammate made Zhang Linpeng feel out of breath after playing for 15 minutes, and his physical fitness was almost at the limit. When Ye Luo got the ball on the left again, Zhang Linpeng had no choice but to bite the bullet and meet him. At the same time, he immediately called his teammates over to help defend. The teammates who came to help defend are also capable. There is Zheng Zhen, a player from Lu province who played the right midfielder in this game, and Wu Qian, the midfielder who will be the future captain of the national football team. Behind them is the tall central defender Mei Fong. They are the backbone of the national team in the future. At this time, Zhang Linpeng and Zheng Zhen posted up one after the other, Wu Qian dragged back to help defend, and Mei Fong firmly guarded the penalty area. It seems that there is no flaw at all. But at this time, the eyes of the fans in front of the TV were full of anticipation, looking forward to Ye Luo's performance like a magician. Because similar scenes have appeared many times in the first 15 minutes of the game. Here it comes again. Ye Luo holds the ball and faces multiple teams. What kind of skills will he show this time? Lu Jianhong couldn't help shouting. It stands to reason that as a commentator of the Dragon Kingdom, he should naturally stand on the side of the Dragon Kingdom and the Olympics. But in this game, he cheered for Ye Luo without any scruples. Because on the one hand, of course, it is because Ye Luo is a player from Longhua. Second, it's because Ye Luo's performance is indeed worthy of people's hats off. Under the eyes of all expectations, Ye Luo fiddled with the football with his right foot. The football is brilliant under his feet, which is pleasing to the eye. This is the best Longhua player I have ever seen. Seeing this, Lu Jianhong couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Under the lens, Ye Luo didn't watch the game, and his feet were like brushes in the hands of a master calligrapher, splashing ink wantonly. I saw him suddenly stop. Like a sudden change in rhythm in a symphony, the right foot flicks and dunks, and the left foot dunks the ball to the other side. And the moment when Zhang Linpeng and Zheng Zhen had to dance with the 2 consecutive spikes, and the center of gravity leaned to the left. Ye Luo's center of gravity then turned to the right. He easily hooked the ball with his right foot, and kicked hard with his left foot. His body was like an arrow off the string. Had a clean During the process of adjusting their center of gravity, the two slipped their feet and fell backwards, completely losing their defensive position. Wu Qian, who was assisting in the defense from the rear, had no choice but to rush up quickly and made a desperate defense sliding shovel. It's a one-shot deal. Either succeed in keeping Ye Luo. Either. Let Ye Luo face the defense directly. Wu Qian had to. Because he has no other defensive options. He can't keep up with the speed, and he can't keep up with the rhythm. The only way he can use now is to foul. Be careful. Amidst the exclamation of Lu Jianhong and the fans, Ye Luo seemed to have eyes in the back of his head. Suddenly a sudden stop. Wu Qian could only watch helplessly as her body swiped past Ye Luo, without touching anything. Her body slipped out of the field under the effect of inertia. But when he looked back, Ye Luo had dribbled the ball into the penalty area. Mei Fang, who was 1.9 meters tall, was like a wooden stake in front of Ye Luo, giving up his center of gravity with a fake move. Fortunately, Wang Dalei, the main goalkeeper of the Olympic team, had already attacked in time and quickly rushed to Ye Luo. Ye Luo. Places. There are 4 people in a row, and now the one standing in front of him is Wang Dalei. Lu Jianhong is too contradictory now. Ye Luo passed 4 defensive players in a row and faced the goalkeeper single-handedly. But if he hits the ball, the Olympic team will fall behind by 2 goals, and at the same time, it may become the background board of a wonderful goal. Not only Lu Jianhong was conflicted, but also the fans of Longhua who were watching the game. He usually scolds fiercely, and after losing, he swears that he will be a dog when he watches the national football team again. But when it was time for the game, I secretly turned on the elevator. No, I secretly turned on the TV. Seeing that the National Olympics is about to be scored again, I am ready to scold in my heart, but now the player who scored the goal is also a player from Longhua. I really don't know what to do. But now Wang Dalei didn't think so much. His attack speed is very fast, which is his advantage. He once received training at Inter Milan, and there were even rumors that Inter Milan was planning to keep this Dragon Country player. Although Wang Dalei returned to China in the end, the Longhua players who can have a little scandal with Inter Milan still have a little bit of strength. At least his current position selection and closing single-handed posture are very standard. It blocked Ye Luo's possible routes to the maximum extent. He even deliberately exposed the position above his head, preparing to lure Ye Luo to shoot. This is Wang Dalei's trick. His jumping is very good, his physical condition is very good, he is sure to throw the ball up suddenly when Ye Luo picks it up. One-handed ball. It is a battle of wits between the goalkeeper and the striker. Between lightning and flint. Ye Luo has brought the ball in front of Wang Dalei. Wang Dalei breathed a sigh of relief. The closer he is to the opponent, the smaller the angle of the opponent's shot, and the higher the success rate of the save. Just now, Ye Luo's left shoulder suddenly sank. Wang Dalei immediately made a judgment and made a fake move. Ye Luo's main foot is his right foot, so he must be more confident in breaking through to the right. Wang Dalei immediately prepared to move to the right. Just now, Ye Luo really leaned to the right. It worked. Wang Dalei was overjoyed. But the next second, joy froze on his face. In his incredible eyes, Ye Luo seemed to have tilted completely to the right, and the center of gravity suddenly moved to the left. With a light dunk of the ball with his right foot, Ye Luo's body roared past Wang Dalei. It was impossible for Wang Dalei to adjust his center of gravity. His upper body was about to move to his right, but Ye Luo jumped to the left after breaking through, but his lower body went to the other side under the action of gravity and inertia. Such a result is. His body seemed to be frozen, motionless. But he could only watch helplessly as Ye Luo pushed the ball into the empty goal with his relaxed left foot. 2 words came to mind. Pendulum. End of this chapter. Chapter 15. Don't do anything, just fall and roar. Chapter 14. Do nothing, just fall. Yellow. Yell yellow. Oh oh. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. My God. In the rear defense studio, Lu Jianhong put his head in his hands. The almost instinctive exclamation brought a better explanation effect. In front of the TV, almost all the fans couldn't help exclaiming. What is that? Pendulum 1. Perhaps the signature of Ronaldo, the most talented striker of all time. Now it is actually reappeared by a Dragon Country player. This is an extraordinary pendulum. Ye Luo's center of gravity swayed continuously in less than a second. His sense of balance is unbelievable. One daily I can't stop Ye Luo's goal at all. Honestly speaking, although the Olympic team fell behind 0-2, I am not depressed at all. I am very excited, because I have seen the emergence of a talented player belonging to the Dragon Kingdom. His strength is 10 times stronger than all the current active national players. He is the hope of our Dragon Country football. Lu Jianhong was so excited that he couldn't choose what to say. Outside the studio, the director gestured anxiously. What a joke. Ye Luo was criticized and expelled from the Olympic team by the Football Association a few days ago. Looking back, the commentator of the national television sports channel dared to praise Ye Luo so much. Isn't this deliberately playing the opposite role and destroying unity? Seeing this, Lu Jianhong also knew that she was too excited. But he has no regrets, because he saw the rise of a genius. This is definitely the hope of Dragon Country football. The premise is that he can reconcile with the Dragon Country Football Association. Did you see clearly? Pellegrini, who was sitting in his seat, stood up with a bang, and looked at his assistant, Maloska, with a trembling voice. In less than a second, the center of gravity changed 3 times in a row. It's incredible. This is Ronaldo Jr., Maloska exclaimed. Maybe he can become our secret weapon. Pellegrini cheered. Are you going to send him to play at the Bernabeu? Will it be a little early? Maloska frowned. No, how could it be so early? He is an absolute genius. Pellegrini said, pointing to Ye Luo. His position selection and shooting on the wing, his speed, his ball handling advancement, and his sense of the ball are all top-notch in his age group. And he has too many characteristics. Pellegrini marveled. Of course. This is a player with 30% of the three-peak Ronaldo's push and breakthrough ability, 30% of the three-peak Ronaldinho's ball feel, and 30% of the three-peak Cristiano Ronaldo's shooting ability. Although everything is not top-notch. But they're all top-notch. The combination of the 3 abilities gave Ye Luo more means to torture the opponent's defense. This is what Pellegrini values. He needs a real demolitionist. Only in this way can it be possible to get out of the Bernabeu. His team also needs some changes. Maybe Yellow's addition. A catalyst for change in his team. Maybe this is the beginning of Malaga winning. Under constant failure, any head coach's first choice will seek personnel changes, which is the most direct way to change a team's decline. Such a genius doesn't need any time to adapt. He is a shark himself, how can he be afraid of the vast ocean? Pellegrini sat down and laughed. The pressure in La Liga is too great, are you not afraid of crushing him? Maloska asked. Pellegrini was silent for a moment, and said, this is a big gamble, not only for us, but also for himself. If he can withstand such pressure, he has the possibility of becoming a superstar. What if you can't handle it? Pellegrini shrugged, with his talent, he can also play in La Liga, which is better than most professional players. In this world, the football industry is the largest sports industry chain. The football industry supports the most professional players in the world. But most of them are at the low end of the football professional league pyramid, and become the base to support the top 5 European leagues and the UEFA Champions League. Being able to play in La Liga, one of the 5 major leagues, is indeed at the top of the football industry chain, and earns more money than most professional players. Maloska turned his head to look at the teenager who was running towards the stands on the field, his face changed slightly. This kid, what are you going to do again? Fuck. Awesome. Genius. Absolute genius. It's so dick. Has there ever been such a talented player in the history of Dragon Kingdom? In the media seats, the reporters were shocked by Ye Luo's goal just now. Ye Luo ran to the sidelines again, raised his hand, and pointed at the general manager of the Football Association on the rostrum. Snapped. Everyone's face changed. Someone turned to look back. All I saw was that the general manager of the Football Association's face was as dark as the bottom of a pot. He turned his head to look at the stands again, only to see the unruly young man proudly holding his face up, even facing the general manager of the Dragon National Football Association. This is so tall for a Dragon National Football boy who is only a little over 17 years old, an unattainable figure. He is still fearless. Hun Mei Leng is right. An Ning bends his waist and smashes his eyebrows to deal with the dignitaries. A reporter whispered, I and the others know what is called youthful spirit, what is called Li Taibai's style, and what is called uprightness. It's easy to break too hard, another reporter said suddenly. The two looked at each other. Fuck it, I don't believe that Program Yuan can do anything other than keep him from playing football in China. He's still the king of heaven. A chubby reporter spat. In the press box. Some people regret, some are disdainful, some are thoughtful, and some have nothing to do with themselves. This is also a black and white, colorful circle. Program source gone. Someone whispered. The reporters turned their heads to look. All he saw was the back of the disgraced general manager of the Longhua Football Association. Ye Luo is also sorry. After only scoring 2 goals, he ran away and conceded. It really makes people draw their swords and look around at a loss. Now that the program source is gone. Then. Ye Luo looked at Li Tai. Li Tai was shocked. He is really afraid of Ye Luo now. You said, what are you doing to provoke this stupid young man? Li Tai sat on the coach's bench, as if trying to hide his body in the seat. But when Ye Luo passed by the sidelines, he was on the sidelines, his eyes fixed on Li Tai calmly. He doesn't say anything. Did not do anything. Eyes like torches. Illuminate all the ghosts and ghosts so that there is nowhere to hide. Li Tai was restless, only thinking about the end of the game as soon as possible. But he knew. The end of this game is just the beginning of another earthquake. End of this chapter. Chapter 16 Fighting with the Football Association is a lot of fun. Chapter 15 Fighting against the Football Association is a lot of fun. With Ye Luo scoring the second goal. The fighting spirit of the Longhua Olympic team is almost about to be crushed. Game number 3:04 minutes. After completing a strong 2-for-1 cooperation with his teammates in the middle, Ye Luo took a strong shot. The football was thrown by Wang Dalei, hit the post and bounced back to the penalty area, and was shot into the net by the striker. 3-0. Although Ye Luo didn't score the goal, %2% of the credit for the goal should be credited to him. During the intermission, Bruno praised the team's performance in the dressing room. On the other side, Li Tai was furious, he was unprecedentedly angry and aggrieved. The dignified Dragon Country football star, the head coach of the Dragon Country Olympic Games, was humiliated under the attention of all the people. How can it be? What a shame. The only possibility to save a little bit of face now is that the Olympic team can play a role in this game. For example, equalize or reverse. Under Li Tai's instigation, the players of the Olympic team did show their anger on the court. They applied for 3 yellow cards in less than 10 minutes after the start of the second half. And even if they tried so hard, it still didn't stop Ye Luo's goal. The game is 3 minutes. Malaga U18's complete a cross from the right flank. Ye Luo rushed into the penalty area from outside the penalty area, leaped high, and headed the ball towards the goal above the head of Mei Fong, who is as tall as 190 centimeters. So close to the summit. Wang Dalei didn't even react. Mei Fong was still judging where the ball landed, but he just saw where the ball was. Ye Luo almost flew up and hit the ball towards the goal. 4-0. Ye Luo completed a hat-trick. Header. Oh. It's beautiful. Ye Luo went forward from outside the penalty area, and then jumped high to complete the top. This goal is reminiscent of Ronaldo's goal in a Champions League match for Manchester United. Lu Jianhong was amazed. Extraordinary, in-cut shots, single-handed ball handling, cooperative awareness with teammates, and even headers. Ye Luo was displaying his offensive weapons to his heart's content. He knows. Pellegrini is watching somewhere at this moment. He must let Malaga's head coach know that he has enough strength to play for Malaga's first team. He has more than enough weapons to show on the court, and he can be a powerful offensive tactical piece for Malaga. This game is for Ye Luo. It was like a different kind of tryout. Or an interview. The interview leading to La Liga. After scoring this goal, Ye Luo didn't provoke Li Tai anymore. Compared with the tickets to La Liga, these people are simply not worth mentioning. He opened his arms and embraced his teammates at the corner flag. The ones in this stand happen to be the fans of Longwa. Some of them are students studying in Spain, some are tourists visiting Spain, and some are overseas Chinese doing business and working locally. They had flags painted on their faces. They were originally fans cheering for the Olympic team. But at this moment, all of them are cheering for Ye Luo. It's beautiful. Come on. Ye Luo. Ye Luo. Give me an autograph. I will go to Malaga to watch your game. Fans chanted from the stands. Disobey the head coach's arrangement. Disorganized and undisciplined. A player expelled from the Olympic team. The labels were completely thrown out of their minds. Competitive sports. The winner is king. Strength speaks. The strength shown by Ye Luo is enough to prove that he can make the Olympic team, no, the national team play around him. Under these circumstances, if the head coach does not do this, then the head coach is incompetent, dereliction of duty, and stubborn. Ye Luo celebrates with his teammates after scoring a goal. He also raised his arms and applauded in the stands, thanking the fans of Longwa for their support. He pursed his lips. He once imagined that he could wear the national team jersey and represent his country in the World Cup. Just like now, after scoring a goal, he would celebrate the goal with his fans, celebrating victory. Yet now, all this can only be a fantasy. I have offended the Football Association severely. And with his behavior today, even if Program Yuan steps down, the new general manager of the Football Association may not let the national team call him again. Because he didn't slap the face of Program Yuan alone. It is the Football Association, the face of the interest groups in the Longwa football circle. I have completely offended this group of profit seekers in the Longwa football circle. And they have occupied almost every ecological niche of Longwa football. From the Football Association, to coaches, to players, to some well-known reporters. Etc., etc. Imagine. Waiting for my future, there are constantly well-known journalists writing articles to blackmail me, and there are constantly trolls and black fans attacking me on the internet and in the media. Ye Luo thought of this. The corners of his mouth rose slightly. That's what's interesting. It's numerous fun to fight the destiny. Fighting with people is a lot of fun. Fighting with the FA is a lot of fun. After completing this goal, Ye Luo was replaced not long after. Because the players of the Dragon Kingdom and the National Olympics are moving more and more. He was worried about Ye Luo's injury. He knew that there had been many vicious fouls in Longwa football. If Ye Luo gets hurt by these reckless, even deliberate fouls, that's really not worth the candle. After being substituted, the game became a bit boring. For the players of the Dragon Kingdom and the National Olympics, the man who brought them shame has been substituted. And now they are 4 goals behind. Even if you want to get it back, you are powerless. In addition, the Malaga U18 players all grew up from the youth training system of Spanish football. How to control the game. How to play the passing game. It's simply something that runs into the Spaniards' blood. Most of the last game time was consumed by the passing of Malaga's U18 players. To the game number 90 minutes. The camera lens simply doesn't pay much attention to the game. Ye Luo, who was sitting on the bench, became everyone's focus. In the press box, reporters have already turned on their mobile phones or portable DV players. They know that post-match interviews will definitely not be broadcast. If the post-match interview was broadcast in Longwa, it would most likely be a live broadcast accident. With Ye Luo's personality, who knows what he will say. Therefore, I want to interview Ye Luo after the game, and eat this wave of traffic. The best way is to record it yourself. Then broadcast it on the internet. Compared to major TV stations, there are relatively few rules and regulations on the internet. With 3 minutes of stoppage time, there is no doubt that the best player in this game is Ye Luo, who scored a hat-trick. Lu Jianhong said. Immediately afterwards, he began a long speech, from the degradation of Longhua football to the current situation of Longhua football, worried and drowsy. Just when the audience couldn't help it. The referee blows 3 whistles. The game is over. Accompanied by Lu Jianhong's voice. Snapped. Soon. The national TV sports channel can't wait to turn off the live signal source. End of this chapter. Chapter 17, The Raging Storm of Public Opinion. Chapter number 16, The Turbulent Storm of Public Opinion. In fact, the cameras on the court locked onto Ye Luo immediately. At the same time, the referee also smiled and gave him a game ball. This is the privilege of the player who performed the hat-trick in the game. At the same time, when Ye Luo turned around holding the football, the reporters from Longhua rushed up like sharks smelling blood, and surrounded Ye Luo. The reporters were chattering, and they almost put all kinds of radio equipment in Ye Luo's mouth. Of course, Ye Luo would not hide from the reporters. Now the side mission of slapping the face of the FA has not yet announced the end of the mission. It shows that the post-match interview can also be part of the slap in the face. It's very simple. Li Tai wants me to help the high center forward in the team, but I don't want to. Ye Luo said. The reporters also fell silent, expecting to get more explosive news from Ye Luo's mouth. You have also seen the level of the high center forward. Not to mention me, he is far behind the rest of the team, but he can play the main force and occupy a main position. Why? What the hell can it be? Because he gave Li Tieli the benefit of guiding him. Ye Luo became more and more angry. The reporters were dumbfounded. They also know about red envelopes. But like Ye Luo, he said it without hesitation. That was the first time. This young man in front of him. Too bold. The reporters looked at each other. Surprised, shocked. Of course. They are not shocked by such things as giving red envelopes. They were all tacit about this. They were surprised to have a player. A dissatisfied teenager actually spoke out with such a flat face. He didn't think about the consequences. Ye Luo spoke out without any scruples about what happened to him in the Olympic team. In fact, this is the treatment that many small players may receive. But before that, no one is as fresh as Ye Luo. Or, no one can be like Ye Luo. There are channels for sound. Ye Luo's voice became louder and louder. In the ears of reporters. It's really deafening. But can these words be spread in the formal media? No. Because no media dared to report this. Ye Luo looked at one of the young reporters. Ye Luo has sharp eyes, and just now saw the reporter echoing his words. Hello, I watched your video, right? Zhong Daong, an intern reporter of South China Sports Daily, was taken aback for a moment. As a trainee reporter, he didn't have any contacts in the group, and he didn't get any inside information from acquaintances like old international players and team leaders like those old reporters. So he is almost already thinking about leaving. Yes. Great, can you give me a copy of what you just recorded? Ye Luo smiled. Coco. Zhong Daong shot it with his mobile phone. The Nanghua Sports Daily is also a print media. There is no TV media channel. The videos he took are just for viewing while writing. Not much use either. Come and add me a V letter, remember to send me later. Ye Luo stretched out his hand and added his V letter friend on Zhong Daong's mobile phone. His phone is in the locker room. The envious eyes of the surrounding reporters turned green. This is the private V letter of the #1 football team in the future. Being able to add his WeChat is enough to get a job in any Longhua sports media, and they have to be polite. What is a network of people? This is the network. Zhong Daong looks simple and honest, but he is not stupid. Plus Ye Luo's WeChat. This is the luckiest thing in his future career. This is likely to profoundly change his career as a journalist. Under the complicated eyes of the reporters, Ye Luo, who was interviewed, returned to the player channel. And this time, A reporter has already uploaded this part of Ye Luo's post-match interview with a trumpet to Bibo, Mapu, Tiaba, and various button groups. The speed of the spread of the internet is unimaginable. Soon, this storm of public opinion against the Football Association is brewing on the internet. The strength Ye Luo showed in this game is enough to prove that his level is far above the players of these Olympic teams. But why was he fired? Disobey the coach's tactical arrangement. Such a player should be the absolute core. If the coach's arrangement is unreasonable, shouldn't the players be angry? Fans are exceptionally tolerant of geniuses. For a while. Aggressive. The storm of public opinion that was originally aimed at Ye Luo suddenly became 10 times, 100 times stronger. Flocked to the FA. Flocked to Li Tai. A raging storm swept across the internet. Online. The fans were angry, using keys as knives to vent their anger. Ye Luo also turned on the system immediately after returning to the locker room. Ding! The side task, slapping the face of the Dragon Country Football Association. The task is completed with a score of A, task reward, A-level physical medal *1, fusion point, 6 points. Ding! Your main task, scoring the first goal in an official game, has been completed, and you will get the task rewards, fusion point *2, C-level random gift box *2. Ye Luo first saw the A-level physical medal. A-level physique medal, physique +5, reducing the possibility of injury. Good stuff. Of course Ye Luo knew that his way of playing football attracted hatred. So it is best to make your physique more durable. Equip it immediately. 2 C-level random gift boxes were also opened. Obtained 2 C-level items respectively. Bare leg guards, C-level props, immune to the damage of the opponent's defensive action that caused you to be injured once. After the effect is activated, the bare leg guards can only be used as ordinary leg guards. It is equivalent to a one-time prop. That's not too bad. Physical recovery potion, restores a certain level of physical fitness after use. Medicine. It's not a stimulant, is it? Ye Luo froze for a moment. The host can rest assured that all the potions rewarded by the system will not contain any stimulant ingredients. I believe in you. At most, it may not be detected by current technology. When I don't know yet. Now sprinting and swimming are high-tech duels. Ye Luo complained in his heart. Just now. The main task of the system has been refreshed. Ding! You have obtained the main task, enter the first team starting list. System reward, fusion point *3, class B random treasure chest *1. The starting list. Ye Luo couldn't help but clicked his lips. It is not difficult to conquer Pellegrini into the starting list. The difficult thing is to start the next game, because the next game of the first team is against Real Madrid. Facing such an opponent, it takes a lot of courage to put a player transferred from the youth team into the starting list. But this is something that the coach needs to consider. What Ye Luo has to do. Just continue to improve your own strength. Fusion points remaining, 9. Each template can take a small step forward. Fusion. On the data panel. Fusion progress of 3 SS level templates, 36%. Reposted, the last chapter was hung up for reasons you understand. End of this chapter. Chapter 18 Professional Contracts of Sufficient Weight. Chapter number 17, A Professional Contract with Sufficient Weight. The other side. Li Tai was sprayed bloody by the program source, but Li Tai is one of his own after all. Therefore, his position as the head coach of the Olympic team has not been removed. And because Ye Luo's incident had too much influence. It seems that not many people paid attention to the fact that the Olympic team was massacred 4-0 in the case of big and small. Facing doubts from public opinion. The Football Association has started its own traditional art, being a turtle. Just anyway. Neither came forward to respond. The wind of public opinion goes and goes quickly. The FA has experience with this. Not every time the national team loses is like this. Time will equalize everything. Program sources are pretty confident about it. But would he be content with it? Of course not. As this matter gradually subsided in the field of public opinion. There have been many articles in the media that blatantly criticize the truth. For example, Ma Dexin of the Football News is the official pen of the Football Association. As long as there is no national team game. The FA's counterattack, although late, arrived. Malaga first team. 3 days later. Ye Luo was standing at the gate of the first team's training base. He knew that when he came to the first team this time, he was likely to get the chance to play. In the next game against Real Madrid, Ye Luo has a high probability of playing. But for Ye Luo, his goal is to win the first place. Now the team's two main forwards are injured. The team's important attacker, Uruguay striker Sebastian Fernandez and local winger Luke are both absent due to injuries. The only forwards available for this game are Moroccan veteran Baha and Portuguese player Edinho, who is also over years old. In other words, Ye Luo's competitors are two veteran players who are over years old. In fact, as long as his performance does not decline, it is inevitable to get the chance to play, because it is impossible for the Moroccan veteran Baha to persist in 9 or 10 minutes of high-intensity games. This is too difficult for this veteran. So even if Ye Luo does not start the game, there is still a great chance of coming off the bench. But Ye Luo didn't come for the substitute. He's coming to compete for the main force. With this belief, he walked into the training base. He was greeted in the dressing room by the number 1 goalkeeper and captain of the team, Francisco Arnau. The homegrown player has been with Malaga for a decade since joining from Barcelona in 2000. It's an absolute credit to the team. He is also currently the leader of Malaga's dressing room. Ye Luo, right? The head coach has already told me, come with me. Arnau led Ye Luo into the locker room. Introduced to the first team players. It's FIFA International Match Day. But because Malaga is not a wealthy family, there are not many international players in the team. Except for the departure of Danish international Chris and Ghana international Abai, Malaga, which is mainly composed of players from Spain and Portugal next door, is different. International players, this is a civilian team with no stars. However, the Spanish media generally predicted. This team will change a lot in this winter window. Because Prince Abdullah Al Thani, who wears a white cloth on his head, has completed the acquisition of the team last month. It is a pity for the Malaga media. The summer transfer window was over by then. So this petrodollar-wielding clique prince didn't have a chance to show his skills, but brought a famous coach to the team, last season's Real Madrid coach Manuel Pellegrini. Predictably. In this winter transfer window, Malaga has the opportunity to show their talents in the transfer market and introduce some powerful players. But now Pellegrini can only use this mediocre lineup to play in La Liga. Malaga fans will need to be patient a little bit. But even Malaga's first-team players looked rather mediocre to the media and fans. He was also very cold when facing Ye Luo. If you have a good attitude, you can even say hello with a slight smile. Most just nodded slightly, that's kind of friendly. Others just ignore it. This is also normal. They see a lot of players from the youth teams being promoted to the first team. But the vast majority of them fail to gain a foothold in the first team. Mostly just follow along to see the world. Not to mention, the team is not doing well. Many rounds without victory. Deep in the relegation zone. These circumstances made the atmosphere in Malaga's dressing room very depressing. In addition, almost everyone is destined to be slaughtered in the next game. If the players can still play heartlessly now, that's not taking the team's performance seriously. No matter what you think in your heart. Anyway, the atmosphere in Malaga's locker room is not very active now. Everyone looked very serious. It seems that he is a little worried about the fate of the team. In fact, there is no lack of worry about his own future. The team was bought by the oil prince. Most of them will probably be sold by the team, right? Perhaps many players will lose their jobs during the winter window. Team captain Francisco Arnau doesn't have to worry about being sold. On the one hand, he has decided to retire at the end of this season. The goalkeeper is interested. It's not just that everyone is Van der Sar, and he can transfer to Manchester United in his 30s for a second spring. This is your wardrobe. Arnau took Ye Luo to a corner of the dressing room. He pointed to the cabinet above and said, "The numbers on the jersey are huge. 41 number. At first glance, it is the number of the youth team players because the registration number of the La Liga first team can only be from 1 to 25, and those who exceed 25 are the team's youth training players. As a youth team player, of course he is not qualified to choose the jersey number. Ye Luo didn't care either. The number or something is not a problem for him to consider for the time being. Impress the head coach through training first, and then get the chance to start. Ye Luo walked to his place and put on his training shoes and jersey. Then they walked to the training ground under the leadership of Captain Arnaud. The team's assistant coach Moloska led the training. Ye Luo looked around, but did not see the shadow of Coach Pellegrini. But what he didn't expect was, the head coach is standing by the window of an office facing the stadium in the administrative office building of the team. Beside him is the team owner Abu, who has the words, "Rich Man," written all over his body. Dula Arzani, and the team's general manager Fernando Sanz. The power of the head coach of a La Liga team is generally limited to the first team, and the person in charge of club management is usually the general manager of the team, or simply the chairman himself. Is he the Ye Luo you mentioned? The team owner craned his neck curiously, and saw the Chinese teenager Ye Luo on the field in the distance at a glance. The biggest treasure of the youth academy, comparable to the genius of Messi at the same age. The general manager of the team, Fernando Sanz, had doubts in his tone. It is suspected that coach Manuel Pellegrini was joking. But judging by his tone and expression, it didn't look like he was joking at all. Of course I'm not joking, gentlemen. I think Malaga should try their best to keep him and give him a professional contract with enough weight, otherwise I can't guarantee that Malaga can keep him this season. End of this chapter. Chapter 19 First Team, Core Treatment. Chapter 18, The First Team, The Core Treatment. Team owner Abdullah Arthani and general manager Fernando Sanz looked at each other. Is there that exaggeration? Comparable to Messi of the same age? Doesn't that mean that the team has a talent with golden ball potential? What a joke. But the two are not surprised. Because Messi is so hot now. Basically, a little genius will be dubbed XX Messi. For example, what about Austrian Messi, what about Korean Messi, what about Egyptian Messi and so on. But it doesn't mean that your name is XX Messi, and you are Messi. Who is Messi? That is the successor of the ball king handpicked by the Argentine ball king Maradona. This is one or two geniuses that only emerge in half a century. How could it appear casually? So both thought it was Pellegrini's exaggeration. The general manager of the team, Fernando Sanz, cleared his voice and said, "Luis, I think we should wait until he has played at least one professional league game. Many talents who have made great achievements in the youth training camp will not work well in the first team. So it's normal for Fernando Sanz to say that." Pellegrini shrugged. He has fulfilled his responsibilities as a head coach. Since the team's top management thinks they need to be more cautious, Pellegrini can't interfere. And the next game is against Real Madrid. If Ye Luo can perform well in this game, it will be regarded as a fame. When Malaga wants to keep Ye Luo, it may not be as simple as a simple professional contract. On the training ground, Ye Luo swayed freely. With the integration of the templates, Ye Luo's control over the football also developed. The three basic skills of passing, leading and shooting players have all performed quite solidly. In terms of physical condition, his daring speed and explosive power made the players of the first team look sideways. As the training progresses, the players of the first team began to pay more attention to Ye Luo. On the football field, only strength will win respect. And in the group confrontation in the afternoon, Ye Luo's performance stunned the players of the first team. They had never seen such a performance from a player who had just been promoted from the youth academy. His talent cannot be concealed at all, and it overflows directly. And the team's two main central defenders, the two local players, Manu Torres and Ivan Gonzalez, don't have much of the previous priority mentality at this time. When Manu Torres once again struggled to shovel Ye Luo out of the bottom line, he was in a hurry. Get angry at your partner. Stick to him, don't let him pass so easily. Ivan Gonzalez was also a little annoyed by the past, and he replied directly, "You try it? Is this kid so easy to stick to?" The two teams' main central defenders almost quarreled on the court. Have to say, Ye Luo's way of playing football does have a pull hatred. In fact, the performance of both of them has been quite good. At least Ye Luo was a little surprised. If it was in the youth team, Ye Luo would have gotten whatever he wanted and scored more than one goal. The strength and ability of the first team and La Liga are indeed not comparable to the youth teams. Ye Luo was excited. The confrontation with the team's two main central defenders made him feel that he can realize his potential faster, that is, he can adapt, use, and grasp his current potential faster. La Liga level central defender. It is much stronger than the youth league. If you want to score goals in front of the central defenders in La Liga, it is not as easy as facing the youth team. But that's the fun. Ye Luo stood in the penalty area, concentrating all his attention on the playing field. This is his advantage. His game is very focused and he has a very strong desire to attack the goal. 3SS level templates are a step up in technology. And on a spiritual level, this template doesn't help much. In fact, there are many players who are technically talented. But to be able to fully develop one's potential in the end, one must have a strong spiritual belief. In this area, Ye Luo happens to have that kind of strong competitive spirit and desire to score goals. He was surrounded by defenders as if there were no chances. However, when the corner kick was taken, Ye Luo suddenly withdrew from the small penalty area to the big penalty area line. This time the corner kick line just flew in this direction. Facing the incoming ball, Ye Luo raised his foot directly. Volley, shoot. The football suddenly changed direction and hit the lower edge of the crossbar and bounced into the goal. Boohoo, beautiful. Many players are cheering. This is indeed a very beautiful goal. This kid is definitely a fierce man. So amazing. Sooner or later he will become a big star. For a while, everyone rushed up one after another, patting Ye Luo's shoulders and hair to celebrate the goal. And after the first day of training, Ye Luo put on the red vest that symbolized the main force. There are still 2 weeks before the trip to the Bernabeu. So, Pellegrini had time to let Yellow integrate into the team as soon as possible. And with the observation of Ye Luo, and the recognition of Ye Luo's strength by the first team players, Pellegrini began to practice counterattack tactics centered on Yellow. Of course, Pellegrini will not whimsically play against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, or delusional to play against Real Madrid with the strength of Malaga. Although Real Madrid lost 1-5 in one round. But their opponent is Barcelona, now known as the Cosmic Team. For a small shrimp like Malaga, facing this football giant at Real Madrid's home court, it is more economical to honestly defend and counterattack. So Pellegrini pinned Malaga's hopes of scoring goals on Yellow. He designed a 442 formation for this game. The striker partnering with Ye Luo in the frontcourt is Portuguese centre Edinho. Edinho, who is 180 centimeters tall, is very strong and can serve as a frontcourt fulcrum to provide support for Ye Luo. At the same time, Edinho will also participate in defense as the team's first line of defense. As for Ye Luo, his task is to waiting for the opportunity to counterattack. Once the backcourt steals the ball, no matter who gets the ball, they must come to Ye Luo immediately. Once Ye Luo has the opportunity to counterattack with the ball. Take Ye Luo's personal abilities shown in the past 2 days. Facing Real Madrid's defenders one-on-one, he definitely has the advantage of speed. And he holds the ball very steadily and has good technique. The important thing is to have a strong ability to seize opportunities. This will ensure Malaga's counterattack efficiency. If you can complete 1 or 2 effective counterattacks, it is not a fantasy to get out of the Bernabeu in this game. End of this chapter. Chapter 20. Ye Tian Kai trains as the core, and reporter Ma offers advice to coax the FA. Chapter 19. Ye Tian trained as the core, and reporter Ma offered advice to coax the FA. Just when Ye Luo kept his ears to the outside world and concentrated on training as the core. Domestic. The public opinion caused by Ye Luo's slap in the face of the Football Association gradually subsided. On the internet, some rumors, true and false, began to appear around Ye Luo. What is more lethal is the collection of some mistakes made by Ye Luo before some editing. And there are many Liz Honk articles appearing. The more influential article was written by an account whose ID is Mogwan Football. He first analyzed Ye Luo's performance in the Malaga youth team against the Olympic team, made a few gifs, and praised Ye Luo's good state. Then he changed his writing and said, "This is undoubtedly the masterpiece of Ye Luo's football career." Perhaps with the support of his anger value, he played a new high game in his career. Then the topic began to lead to Ye Luo's previous performance in the game. To be honest, although Ye Luo's performance in the previous competition was not bad, it could even be considered excellent. But compared with his explosive performance this time, it really looks mediocre, and as long as he wants to, no matter who he is, he can cut a collection of mistakes. So ever. Under the influence of this influential football self-media, Mogwan Football, on the internet, a lot of speeches appeared. Actually, it's okay to perform well in a game, especially in this situation. The explosive seat supported by the anger value. But is what Ye Luo said true? Li Tai didn't leave get out of class either. It is said that he will be held accountable for spreading rumors. Damn, who knows if it's true or not. I think Ye Luo's performance is not an occasional explosion. You can see the way he scores goals and his extraordinary stoppage. Hee, the ball blind likes to watch these. That's right, whoever surpasses others now is passing the ball. Anyone who knows how to play football knows that if you pass others at every turn, you don't know how to play football. A time. The water in the country is muddy. At the Football News headquarters, the editor-in-chief Ma Dexin looked at the remarks on the internet and smiled triumphantly. "Mr. Ma, that kid is really capable. If we do this, we will commit suicide." A thin young man with glasses and greasy hair raised his head. Said with bloodshot eyes, "I don't know how much overtime I have worked in front of the computer, and how many keyboard warriors I have played against. You are full of rhetoric, you want to take the postgraduate entrance examination." The bald Ma Dexin squinted at his assistant, and said with a sneer, "The higher-ups asked him to engage him. This kid has offended a big shot. How can he just do that? Comfortably let go. Look, this is just the beginning. This kid is only a player in the youth team. There are basically no opportunities for him to show his face. When he can play in the first team and get a little bit of fame. He will not become a big trader in China." "A trader? I don't even have a surname of Ma." Ma Dexin said with a cold snort. "With this persona. So what if you play well? Offended people. Don't even think about making domestic money. Too rigid and easy to break. Too rigid and easy to break." Ma Dexin drew the sign of the cross on his chest. "Amitba, bless you, boy, it's not that I'm going to mess with you, but the higher-ups are going to mess with you. Just don't blame me in the future." President Ma, "Speaking of which, Malaga will face Real Madrid in the next game, but that kid is U18. President Ma. Look. Look. The greasy-haired young man pointed at the computer screen and trembled. "What's going on?" Ma Dexin leaned over. "Isn't this the roster for this game?" "Gah." Ma Dexin almost lost his temper. He has already planned a 3-step plan to completely blacken Ye Luo into ashes. As a result, these 3 steps only took half a step. It doesn't seem to work. Because Ye Luo actually appeared on the squad for Malaga's away game against Real Madrid. 41 YLUO. This name is too recognizable among the names of Latin fans. And this big number also clearly showed Ye Luo's identity. He was promoted to the first team by the Malaga youth team. This. How is this possible? Ma Dexin was stunned again and again. "President Ma, what should we do? Are we going to die before we finish our mission?" Calm down, the Mediterranean Sea above the horse's new head started to sweat. It may be that the brain needs to dissipate heat due to its high-speed operation. Just now. Ma's new phone rang. "Mr. Cheng, hey. Hey. I saw it. It's just on the big list. Don't worry." Ma Dexin picked up the phone, grinned and said while bending over. "That's right, it's just for the big roster. I'm sure you won't be able to play." "You think, who is the opponent?" "Real Madrid. You have heard of the team, such a big team, can the kid have a chance to play? He is just a small U18 player. Over the phone. The source of the program frowned. Standing beside him is Li Tai, the head coach of the Olympic team. He looked at Li Tai with a look of inquiry in his eyes. Li Tai nodded quickly, indicating that Ma Dexin was right. A young player in the youth academy. There is no need to worry about him playing. But that alone made the big list. It can be predicted that the fans will definitely be shocked. By the time the public opinion that was finally suppressed, it's about to boil again. Even if he doesn't show up, the impact of this matter is not trivial, we must find a way to suppress it. Program Yuan said with a frown. Over the phone. Ma Dexin frowned. Press down. Is it that stressful? Do you know how many fans Real Madrid have in China? If we simply talk about the number of fans in China, Real Madrid is definitely in the top 3. And it's still the first thing to keep. The two giants who can compete with them are Barcelona and Manchester United. These tens of thousands of Real Madrid fans will definitely watch the game, and they will definitely find out the names on the big list. And you can't press the media to stop reporting this kind of thing. Cheng boss, this matter cannot be suppressed, but we can bring disaster to the east. A wicked smile appeared on the corner of Ma Xinxin's mouth. Bringing the water to the east? How? Asked the program source on the other end of the phone. This is the first time this kid has entered the big list, and he is still facing a team like Real Madrid, so the probability of playing is almost 0. Therefore, we can let people say that his qualifications for the big list were bought. By. Can this also be sold? Yes. Why can't? Ma Dexin said, have you ever heard that some agents in China specialize in this business, operating small players to go abroad, buying a European team's roster, and even playing games, qualifications, then the country can brag about it, inflate the value of the player, and then sell it to a domestic team at a high price. Did you buy this kid's big list? It's not important. The source of the program nodded in satisfaction. Very good. You must pay attention to the influence of public opinion. If you work in the media, you should find a way to guide it. Okay, just look at it. Ma Dexin nodded and bowed. End of this chapter. Chapter 21. Ma's new story of disturbing public opinion is out of line, so be careful when looking at the list, Marshall Mu. Chapter 20. Ma Dexin, who stirs up public opinion, is out of line, so be careful when looking at the list. Soon. There have been a lot of news on the internet about the export of domestic players to domestic sales. On the Maguan Football forum account, an article titled, Genius, Benefit, Be Wary of the Inside Story of Exporting to Domestic Sales, article, with the help of someone, quickly became the hot search for bibs. The content actually has nothing to do with Ye Luo. The previous content is normal. Just to describe a few cases. Several small domestic players were signed by domestic teams at high prices after being operated by agents. Through a certain degree of interest cooperation with European teams. Package the small players of Dragon Kingdom, increase the value of small players, and even use a certain degree of tactical resource tilt in certain events to brush up data. As such, it is possible to promote the originally worthless young players from Longwei into geniuses, and find domestic teams to take advantage of them and spend huge transfer fees to buy them back. Similar cases are not uncommon. And it's all true. And at the end of the article, mentioned Ye Luo's reversal of public opinion and the abnormality of being selected for the squad against Real Madrid. As we all know, Ye Luo is called Dragon Kingdom Beckham by fans in China not because of his skills, but because of his appearance. It is true that in Dragon Kingdom, Ye Luo can be regarded as a young talented player, but his talent is not enough in European football. However, under such circumstances, he scored a hat-trick in the game against the Olympic Games, and he played against Malaga in the much-anticipated Real Madrid. Into the big list of the game in the battle. Why the Olympic team, why Real Madrid? How many times has Longwa football suffered this kind of loss? Maybe we should all be vigilant. In the article, it also didn't directly say that Ye Luo's entry into the squad in this game was a conspiracy to export to domestic sales. just pointed out the unreasonable part of it. It leaves a lot of room for the imagination of the readers. However, the previous cases are enough for readers to come up with a conspiracy theory. The hat trick against the Olympic Games is a conspiracy, and it is also a conspiracy against Real Madrid's entry into the squad. It's really too hateful, too hateful. With the help of caring people, the turmoil of public opinion began to become muddy. Ye Luo's voice also appeared on the internet. After all, the forest is big and there are all kinds of birds. What's more, in this world, most people follow the crowd and don't think well. The 17-year-old Longua player has entered the La Liga squad. The opponent is still Real Madrid, do you believe it? What is the background of Ye Luo's family? I heard that the family is in business and is quite rich. Can I learn football without money? For a while. There are all kinds of remarks. Truth and justice. Thus covered and buried. Have to say. The Longua Football Association is not good at football, but it is very good at people. I don't know where he learned this. However, the premise that they can get Ye Luo through this method is that Ye Luo is really just a passerby who fills up the big list. Who can imagine? Now Ye Luo is Malaga's secret weapon away from home. Is he the core player of the team's counterattack tactics? The roster for the game was announced 2 days before the game. So at the training base of Real Madrid at this time. Inside Coach Mourinho's office. What lies ahead is his next opponent's match list. Mourinho is undoubtedly a very cautious coach. Even though Malaga seems to have no real threat to Real Madrid, Mourinho's work is still done meticulously. Study your opponent. Develop tactics. Calm public opinion. A little bit of confidence and motivation for Real Madrid, a team that has just completed reconstruction. Before Mourinho took over, Real Madrid is dubbed the Champions League 16 Lang. They have the brightest lineup and the biggest stars in the world. It is also the team that has won the most championships in the history of the Champions League. However, it is such a team that has stopped in the top 16 of the Champions League for several consecutive years. In the domestic arena, they were also overwhelmed by rising rivals Barcelona, Guardiola's Cosmos. Especially the last round of the league. At Camp Nou, Real Madrid suffered a humiliating defeat. They lost, cleanly to rival Barcelona in the away game. So this game, Mourinho emphasized in training these days. They have only one goal. Victory. And a big victory. Although the victory over Malaga is completely unable to make up for and restore the frustration of losing to Barcelona, But at least it can show the determination of Real Madrid to the outside world, and this loss is not necessarily a bad thing. He will make Real Madrid stars realize that in order to defeat a terrible opponent, they need to unite around the coach Mourinho and implement the tactics of the coaching staff. The loss of that game. In fact, it was the going their own way of several stars that led to the overall collapse of tactics. So much so that it led to a humiliating defeat. So for Mourinho, in a way, the loss to Barcelona can actually be an opportunity for him to squeeze this team together. Completely turn this luxurious team of all-star players into an army with strong combat effectiveness. He needs a fighter who can give it his all on the court, not a thick dude who cares about his hairspray. From this point on, he obviously has the support of the current Real Madrid dressing room, because they have a common enemy Barcelona. And Mourinho also took advantage of this. In his later coaching career of Real Madrid, he also constantly used Barcelona to stimulate Real Madrid players, and constantly stimulated the fighting spirit and enthusiasm of Real Madrid players by creating greater antagonism between Barcelona and Real Madrid. Fighting spirit. This also became one of the important reasons for the break between Real Madrid's Spanish international and Mourinho. Ye Luo. Mourinho looked at this strange name. Then he asked his assistant Kalanka. Who is this guy? Kalanka stared at the name, then looked at the back. Okay. It's very strange. It should be the first youth training player entering Malaga's squad. Judging by the way the name is spelled, it should be an Oriental. East? People from the Dragon Kingdom? Mourinho pondered for a moment. Kalanka said, maybe this is just a promotion from the youth academy to fill the lineup, and we don't need to spend energy to pay attention. But a little guy who is probably from the Dragon Kingdom suddenly appeared in the La Liga field. I am really curious. Why did he impress Pellegrini? Mourinho said. He thought for a while, and said, we shouldn't let go of any details, I want his information, all the information. Mourinho pointed to Ye Luo on the list and said loudly. End of this chapter. Chapter 22. Guess the starter. Muñoz on Ye Luo, the Bernabeu newcomer shakes the duck. Chapter 21. Guess the starter. Muñoz on Ye Luo, the Bernabeu newcomer shocked Spain. Soon, Ye Luo's information was placed in front of Mourinho. It included a video of Ye Luo's game against the Longhua Olympic team. After reading Ye Luo's complete information, especially his ball-handling performance in the Longhua Olympic team, Mourinho was lost in thought. After a long time, pointing to the name, he said, cut out his video and send it to our defenders. Kalanka froze for a moment. You think you will have a chance to play? Mourinho turned to look at Kalanka and said, I don't know what Pellegrini is thinking, but if it were me, guess what I would do? The Portuguese marshal bought a pass. However, Kalanka did not wait for an answer. He took a deep breath and said, I will let him start, and even develop tactics around him if I were the head coach of Malaga. The corner of Mourinho's mouth curled up, and he looked back at the screen in his office, replaying the scene of Ye Luo stopping the long pass. I'll start him. Kalanka frowned. Will he start? Pellegrini has the guts. I don't know, but his current situation is actually similar to ours. We need to restore the team's confidence in this game, and if they don't win as soon as possible, Pellegrini's coaching position will not be stable. Mourinho shrugged. Emphasize with our players that our opponent in this game is likely to be this little guy. Time flies by. Soon it will be game day. The day before the game, the Malaga team arrived in Madrid and checked into a hotel in Madrid not too far from the Bernabeu. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon the next day, 2 hours before the game, the team woke up from their lunch break and boarded the bus to the Bernabeu. As usual, on the bus, the team's head coach Manuel Pellegrini announced the 11-man starting lineup for the game. The goalkeeper position is Captain Arnaud. There is no suspense in the combination of central defenders. 2 local players, Manu Torres and Ivan Gonzalez, are partnered. The left back is the Portuguese player Lozario. The right back is local player Gasper. Midfield. 2 defensive midfielders, Juanito and Aponio, guard the center. As for the 2 fullbacks, on the left is Elasu, a Portuguese player who can run up and down, and has excellent physical fitness. Sandro Silva from Brazil. 4 defenders, 4 midfielders. In this way, there are only 2 positions left for the forward line. Forward, Edinho. Pellegrini's words fell. With 11 starters, there is only 1 spot left. All eyes turned to Ye Luo. Really? Pellegrini's next words were, yellow. Although it was expected. But after hearing Pellegrini announce that a starting striker position belongs to him, Ye Luo still couldn't help heaving a sigh of relief, and then grinned. La Liga. I am coming. Ding. Congratulations on completing the main mission, entering the starting list of the first team. You get a mission reward, Fusion Point *3, B-level random treasure chest *1. In the congratulations of everyone, Ye Luo opened the B-level treasure chest. Ding. Congratulations on getting the item, shooting boots, class B. Props, shooting boots, grade B. Effect, the shooting line is automatically corrected by 10 cm in the direction of the 10-point angle. The 10-point angle refers to the right angle between the goal beam and the post, and the right angle between the post and the lawn. Durability, 2 halves, 1 match consumes a little durability. Good stuff. Unfortunately, only available for 2 games. Ye Luo shook his head regretfully. There are 3 fusion points, which can be merged just once. After fusion, the fusion progress of the 3 SS level templates, 37%. Next should be a new main task, is it to score the first La Liga goal? In Ye Luo's expectation, the system brushed out the main task. Main task, defeat Real Madrid in this round of the league. Task reward, Fusion Point *6, A-level random treasure chest *1. Task failure penalty, suspend the issuance of system main tasks and side tasks for 1 month, and the task system will be closed for 1 month. Ye Luo had a question mark on his face. Beat Real Madrid? Ciao Nima system, you are a real dog. With the announcement of the match list, the team's bus also slowly drove into Real Madrid's home stadium, the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium. Let alone this stadium, Ye Luo came to play games. Haven't even seen it live. This is one of the most famous football stadiums in the football world. The stadium is named after Real Madrid legend Santiago Bernabéu. Haven't gotten off the bus yet. Ye Luo could feel the vibration of the stadium. The Bernabéu, which can accommodate more than 8 people, was not full in this game. This is the protest of Real Madrid fans against Real Madrid's big loss to Barcelona in the last round of the league. Real Madrid fans are very demanding. When their team does not perform well, they will not hesitate to boo them. Therefore, according to the official statistics before the game, more than 6 fans came. But even so, the momentum created by more than 6 fans is also huge enough. After entering the visiting team's locker room, assistant coach Maloska began to yell loudly. Quick, quick! Change clothes, change equipment, go out and warm up. Warm up your body. At the urging of the assistant coach, Ye Luo also put on the warm-up clothes and sneakers in an orderly manner, along with the other 17 players on the team. Through the tunnel at the Bernabéu. Into the Bernabéu Stadium. Boom! The moment you set foot on the football field, the sound waves seemed to vibrate the air and hit the chest cavity. Ye Luo took a deep breath. What is a big stage? This is the big stage. An hour before the game. Inside the Bernabéu press hall, everyone is waiting for the 2 sides to announce their starting rosters. The first to be released is Real Madrid starter. No big surprise. Goalkeeper Iker Casillas, center-back combination Pepe partner Ramos, left-back Marcelo, right-back Arbeloa, double midfielder is Khedira partner Harvey Alonso, the choice of front midfielder is the German players are beggars, and Mr. Golden Ball Kaká can only sit on the bench. On the forward line, there are Ronaldo, Higuaín and Di Maria on the left, center and right. An extremely luxurious lineup. Don't talk about starting. Look at their subs, Kaká, Benzema, Carvalho, Los Diera, Gago. This is the lineup thickness of the Galaxy battleship. In Malaga, it seems too shabby. The players in front were not much of a surprise. The only accident. All the reporters were staring at that name. 41, Ye Luo. Who is Ye Luo? Immediately. This is the unanimous question of all Spanish journalists. This is such a strange name. Why does it appear in the starting lineup facing a super giant like Real Madrid? End of this chapter. Chapter 23. Looking forward to rebounding. Malaga fans have no hope, and it is difficult to turn Ye Luo's national team career to an end. Chapter 22. Hope to bounce back. Malaga fans have no hope. It is difficult to turn Ye Luo's national team career to an end. Pfft. The reporter of Aspen newspaper, Ronaldinho, burst out laughing. The reporters in the news hall all looked at this well-known reporter from Aspen News. Is there no one in Malaga? 17 years old, native of Longwa, has never played in a professional team. What? Lolitos sneered. What is Pellegrini going to do with such a little guy? To humiliate Real Madrid? It's unreasonable. The Spanish reporters present shook their heads. This roarist is really a mad dog. Pellegrini has already dismissed get out of class, and he still bites on him. When Pellegrini was in charge of Real Madrid last season, the reporter from Aspen was Pellegrini's #1 opponent. The grievances between the 2 sides are not small. Now Ye Luo has at best suffered a catastrophe. It is conceivable that the reporter of the Aspen newspaper did not want to see good things about Ye Luo in his article. But what is Pellegrini thinking about sending a 17-year-old kid on the field against an opponent like Real Madrid? Strategic abandonment? Unlikely. Pellegrini was a bit unhappy when he was fired last season. How could he easily concede defeat at the Bernabéu? Perhaps Pellegrini thinks this guy can perform in front of a defense line consisting of Ramos, Pepe, Marcelo and Arbeloa. A local reporter in Madrid spread his hands and said. This remark caused many Madrid people present to sneer frivolously. The faces of the reporters from Malaga instantly became ugly. It is really uncomfortable for a big club to be condescending. However, they have nothing to say now. Real Madrid's substitute is Kaká. And Malaga can only take out an unknown soldier from the youth academy when there is a shortage of forwards. This is the difference between Real Madrid and Malaga. Some Malaga reporters showed some disappointment on their faces. Someone comforted him, there's nothing to be disappointed about, this is the Bernabeu anyway, isn't it? Yes. This is the Bernabeu. The reporter, who is also a Malaga fan, had a bitter smile on his face. Malaga and Real Madrid have played 71 times in history, and the number of wins can be counted on the fingers only 3 times, all at home, lost 59 of them, and drew 8 games. This is still the record of all the fights. And on the road? Malaga have only drawn against Real Madrid on the road. Twice. Lost 31 games. Perhaps no one will remember what happened to a small team like Malaga at the Bernabeu. But for the Malaga fans. Lost at the Bernabeu. It's just an ordinary memory among countless losses. Even losing to Real Madrid, for a small club like Malaga. In fact, there is nothing unacceptable. Okay. The Malaga reporter shook his head. I was just fantasizing about Pellegrini before the game. For rounds winless, Malaga fans are looking forward to a rebound. But now it seems. Counting on a strong rebound against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. It's really a bit too whimsical. If the Spanish journalists in the press hall were only curious about Ye Luo's first appearance, they were curious. That's in the Dragon Kingdom fan circle. Ye Luo started. Just an earthquake. A tsunami. Yellow started against Real Madrid. Fuck. F***CK. The number 1 Longua player in history who played against Real Madrid in an official game. Oh my god. Didn't some self-media accounts say that Ye Luo's entry into the big list was a bot spot 2 days ago? What a bitch. It was the ID of Maguan Football who said it first. I know this, Maguan Football is Ma's new one. What a fucking new horse. It's better than writing anything as long as you get paid. It seems that the Football Association is looking for someone. Hey Ye Luo, what a hatred and hatred. The Football Association is such a scumbag, maybe it's not good to do football, just do these things. To say the most dumbfounded right now. It was Ma Ningxin who was sitting at his desk, watching the news from ahead of the game. There are no strong dialogues between the giants this weekend. Therefore, the games of big giants like Real Madrid must be the focus of major media attention. The first time it came out. Ma Ningxin is paying attention. Although, football news focuses on domestic football. But now the Chinese Super League season is over, so, football news also pays attention to international football news. The result was when I saw the start of this game. Ma Ningxin was dumbfounded. He thought of how hard he had been working so hard these days. Even his own real name bib account has come to an end, pouring dirty water on Ye Luo. Completely lowered the bottom line of the 3rd or 4th floor underground, and lowered it to the 18th floor again. The reason why he worked so hard. It is to offset the positive impact of Ye Luo's selection in Malaga's squad for the game on the domestic football world. According to the Football Association's instructions, Ye Luo cannot have a positive image. And as the only seedling of Dragon Country players in the 5 major leagues, Ye Luo's influence on domestic fans will be huge. Under these circumstances, in order to balance the impact of this matter, of course, Ma Ningxin had to use all his strength to completely confuse public opinion. Have to say, Ma's new writing level is very high. If you are not high, you can't be a well-known reporter. But when this first list comes out, in the past 2 days, the new performances of horses, they've all turned into clowns. He really didn't expect that Ye Luo could really start the game. Although domestic fans are easily influenced by media reports. But they are not fools. No matter what, Malaga is also a La Liga team. The dignified La Liga team sells the starting spot. It's just a joke. After all, not all football in all countries are as bottomless as the gang in Longwa football. At the same time, at the FA headquarters, the general manager of the FA, Program Yuan, was about to be blown up. In the past few days, what he paid most attention to was Ye Luo's affairs. In the case of live TV in Spain, he was slapped by a brat. What a shame and humiliation for the source of the program who has come to this position from a port worker. I thought it was just a small ant. He was crushed to death casually. But now, the more this kid jumps around, the more famous he becomes. A program source is a program source after all. People have seen a lot of strong winds and waves. Although my heart is very angry. But his face only changed slightly. He knows. This Ye Luo. Regardless of the performance against Real Madrid. It's dark for now. He quickly instructed Ma's new mouthpiece to keep a low profile for the time being. Stop stimulating public opinion. But that doesn't mean he gave up. Program Yuan now completely hates Ye Luo. No national team can want such a player. In addition, the Football Association will organize a review meeting to expel Ye Luo from the Olympic team, and conduct a comprehensive review of why the Olympic team recruits a thorny head like Ye Luo into the team. Learn from the national team, women's national team, and local football associations at all levels. Program Yuan calmly drove Ye Luo's future in Longwa football into the hell. He wants to regard Ye Luo as a typical example of disorganization and discipline, and conduct a comprehensive criticism within the football system. In this case, no matter how well Ye Luo plays in the future, there is no possibility of entering the national team anymore. His official status has been completely blackened. End of this chapter. Chapter 24. Mu sees through Real Madrid and hopes for a big victory, and Ye Luo shows his confidence when he refuses to admit defeat. Chapter 23. Mu sees through Real Madrid and hopes for a big victory, and Ye Luo shows confidence in the stand. When the Real Madrid players returned from warm-up, they saw their coach Mourinho quite proud. The players looked at each other, and they all saw admiration from their faces. When Mourinho saw the opponent's 18-man roster, he made the judgment that the Dragon Country player named Ye Luo would be very likely to start, and also analyzed the characteristics of Ye Luo and his game video. The players didn't think that Pellegrini had the courage to suddenly put a 17-year-old player in the Bernabeu to face Real Madrid. But it turns out, Mourinho is right. This gave the Real Madrid players a great psychological hint. The opponent is a poisonous snake trying to conceal the ultimate move, but their ultimate move was seen through by their own head coach. So the opponent will lose this game. Their pre-match arrangement has been seen through. It's their secret weapon. Mourinho pouted and said. His expression was full of sarcasm and conceit. It seems that Pellegrini's careful arrangement has become the biggest joke in front of him. This made the Real Madrid players couldn't help laughing. The home team locker room is full of cheerful atmosphere. Real Madrid's generals are in a good mood. The haze of the defeat at Camp Nou 2 weeks ago seems to have been blown away a lot. See the players smile. Mourinho laughed too. He does not think that Malaga has any ability to threaten Real Madrid. As far as this game is concerned. If it is said that there must be some surprises, that must be because of Real Madrid's own problems. And now, when smiles appeared on the faces of Real Madrid stars, Malaga has no chance at all. As long as these stars show 1% of their talents on the court, it is enough to easily defeat their opponents. Thought here. Mourinho's face became serious. Of course I know that our opponent in today's game is not a strong team. I shouldn't be demanding anything from you when facing such an opponent. Mourinho paused for a while, waiting for the Real Madrid players to restrain their smiles. He continued, the last round of the league was a shame to us. This shame can only be washed away by ourselves. Fortunately, we still have the opportunity to face them at home. They did not refer to Malaga, of course. But Real Madrid's sworn enemy, Barcelona. I really fucking want to face them in this game. Cristiano Ronaldo clenched his fists, gritted his teeth, and a ferocious expression appeared on his handsome face. Mourinho is very satisfied with Ronaldo's attitude. But it's a pity that we have to wait for more than a dozen league rounds before we can meet them again. Before that, what we have to do is to suppress the desire for revenge in our hearts. We must ensure that we will not fall behind when we face them at home. We must beat them at home, overtake them at home. Mourinho clenched his fists and shouted. The Real Madrid players were breathing heavily. This made Karanka, who was behind Mourinho, apologize to Pellegrini. In his heart it was a bit too much. Facing an opponent like Malaga, Mourinho would still put his players they agitated like this. But Karanka also understands. Because in this game, Real Madrid needs a big victory. A hearty victory. At the same time, in the visiting team locker room, Malaga's players also returned to their seats. The starting players are making their final preparations. Put on the jersey, put on the socks, sneakers, insert the shin pads. The same is true for Ye Luo. This game is so important to him. This is his professional league debut. And it's a first show that can't be lost. If you can't win, the task system will be closed for 2 months. This is the ending that Ye Luo will never endure anyway. He is going to win. Put on the B-level prop shooting boots. Inserted the C-rank prop bare leg guards. Do everything possible to improve your strength. When all players are ready. At this time. There are still 10 minutes left before the game starts. Snapped. Crisp applause sounded. Coach Manuel Pellegrini came to the center of the locker room. Everyone went quiet. They know. The head coach is going to do the final mobilization before the battle. For most players in Malaga, they will not give up the game, but they also know that it is difficult to beat Real Madrid. Everyone knows that Ye Luo is very powerful, but no one knows whether Ye Luo can perform well in this kind of situation. This game is a gamble for Malaga. Fortunately though, even if the bet is lost, it's no big deal because no one will ask Malaga to beat Real Madrid. This is so unrealistic. I know what you're thinking, isn't it crazy that we want to beat Real Madrid at the Bernabeu? Pellegrini said. But there are so many crazy things in this world. Why can't we dream of doing something crazy? Beating Real Madrid may be the best game of your career. Just for this, go all out, isn't it worth it? Also, isn't our hard work these days just for today's game? With Pellegrini's words fell. All eyes turned to Ye Luo. The key to winning is, be able to defend and score goals. Defensive words. In Malaga's game, there are 10 players defending with all their strength. And Ye Luo. His only task is to use his personal ability to attack and challenge Real Madrid's defenders. Whether it's Ramos, Pepe, or Marcelo, Arbeloa. He must overcome them. The more impact he has, the less pressure there is on Malaga's other players. If he can help the team score goals, whether he scores by himself or uses his personal ability to attract defenses and then give assists to his striker partner Ronaldinho, then the probability of Malaga winning this game will become slightly higher. He saw that everyone's eyes were on him. Ye Luo stood up with a bang. Pellegrini was taken aback. He hasn't finished yet. But Ye Luo didn't notice this. He was a little angry. Because he felt that his teammates seemed to be too afraid of Real Madrid. Everyone, I know how powerful the opponent we are facing in this game, how famous they are, and how luxurious their lineup is. Yellow's Spanish is much more fluent than it was 2 weeks ago. But why should we be afraid of them? I think they should be afraid. They lost, to Barcelona 2 weeks ago. Ye Luo stretched out 5 fingers. They conceded 5 goals. 5. So everyone knows what they want to do in this game. They can't beat Barcelona, so they want to trouble us in this game to vent their aggrieved hearts. But fuck it. Why should we be their punching bags? Are they angry? Do I still have it? I want to make them unable to vent their anger, just to make them feel uncomfortable and unable to ejaculate. Ye Luo made a hip thrust. The people present immediately burst into laughter. But in the meanwhile, their fear of Real Madrid disappeared in such laughter. End of this chapter.